Hey, we are live. Welcome everybody to Rum and Coke night with special guest tonight, Doelow Da Pilotman. I hope I didn't butcher that name too bad, by the way. Doelow, right?
Yep, Doelow.
Doelow. We're gonna go Doelow. Landon Curt Noll has not shown up yet, but he, like his typical self, he's fashionably late. But we do have Kyle in here. We've got David. We have Frankie from the Geek Room, and somebody else just sneaked in here. Who snuck in?
Landon.
Oh, Landon snuck in fashionably late. All right. The crew is here. Let's show him in broadcast. One sec. It doesn't want to show you, Landon. All right, there we go. Did that do it? No.
Nope.
There we go. There's your beautiful
There he
mug.
is.
So anyways, tonight, by the way, drink of choice tonight. This is actually a new concoction for me. I was actually just talking to Frankie and said, hey, what can I mix brandy with? I don't want to drink a lot and my stomach's acting up. So I said, how about some milk? And he's like, hey, yeah, put some milk. So I made milk with sweet cream and brandy, and it's called like a Brandy Alexander. It's amazing. Try it. I mean, it's super good. Landon, what do you have for your drink of choice tonight? Fine wine?
Let's see. I'm going to start with this great Zinfandel here.
Oh.
And I'll start with that. That's a nice 2016. It's actually from Lodi, California. And then I'll switch to some Smokehead Scotch here. And then after we go even deeper into the abyss, we can try some Amore Grappa.
This man came prepared. Holy crap. Yeah, Landon's got this.
Yeah, he came fucking prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You were loud, Ed Steve.
Holy cow.
Very loud.
I'm loud? I'm always loud. All right, let me turn myself down. Well, I'm like 5 dB lower than most. Okay, one sec. Anyways, while I'm doing that, Doelow Da Pilotman. Are you there, Doelow?
What's going on?
Awesome. Welcome to Rum and Coke night. I've been trying to get you on here for a while because I've been watching some of your videos, and I got to tell you, man, you are creative. I will give you props. Very interesting content, to say the least. So
Can I ask one thing real quick?
go for it.
Doelow, can you do?
No, you may not.
Doelow, can you do your intro for us?
Oh, you want to ask me a question?
Yeah, do your intro. Oh yeah, do your stylized
Yeah,
intro.
do your intro.
What the flight boss, bitch? For sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Tags Moon. I am the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And I must add on, I am no way, shape, or form responsible for flat Earth. I'm not a flat earther. I'm not defending flat Earth in any way, shape, or form. So,
I like him
But other
already.
I could die a happy man.
You're like a wave. I heard you're a wave earther, but I'm not sure what that entails.
I could defend the planets pretty good, but not flat Earth.
But I thought you were. Wait a minute. I thought you were flat earther. Am I wrong?
No.
Oh.
I told you he wasn't. I
Really?
told you, Steve. I told you.
All right,
he
I'm
wasn't.
lying to you all. This was clickbait. Sorry, clickbait.
I'm like a few years ahead. I'm in the land where everybody gonna start saying it's a wave. It ain't gonna be a globe or it ain't gonna be flat. It's gonna be a wave.
Oh, man.
I'm
that
there.
hurts. That
Real
hurts.
quick, Bionic Dance. Hit it. Oh, I was gonna tell her hit F5 so she can.
Oh, she come back.
So you're like the Earth is gonna be like entangled and it's gonna be like a wavicle. Some kind of state of like superpositioning.
We actually see representations of a wave right now as we speak. It's kind of like y'all trying to take well, I'm not saying y'all per se, but as far as scientists and things of that nature, you're trying to make it out of a globe or make it out of a flat, but really it's just like a ram. It's a ram of reality, an influence of light aspecting itself in different angles, and it creates the ram we in, which is in the middle, the orb. So that would be the Earth concept. But once we start getting into situations of, is it flat what? Or once we get into situations, is it a globe? Well, okay, is a globe in what? And then that's when we start to get lost. But it's just like the ram we in. That's Earth.
So I'm assuming.
Everything we
Go ahead. I'm
Certainly,
sorry.
the nice thing about that explanation is it's not even wrong.
It's not even wrong. Yeah, it's not even wrong. And I'm assuming as the
I
night
need
progresses, as we drink it actually make more sense. But it sounds good. I'm enjoying it. By the way, Kate,
I
wanted
need to meet his
Let's say let's get this audio check for Kate real quick. Kate, can you hear us?
Right.
She's looking around. Hello. Hola, ¿cómo
Kate.
estás? Yo tengo un gato de pantalones.
The audio is super, super choppy for me, so I don't know how useful I'm going to be in here.
We actually can hear you pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, you're okay.
Hey, Rags.
I've already had a scotch, by the way, and it's 1 o'clock. Had it 2 hours ago,
Nice.
so I'm getting in on the action. Yeah.
If you guys want a link to get in, I have room for like 2 more people. Rags, if you want in. Brandon, if you want in, message me, and I will get you the link. Because we're going to be kind of going over the Pilotman's very creative way of looking at the universe.
I got a question for the Pilotman. I got one question. Can you hook me up with your dealer, man? Because I want what you're saying.
Amen.
Oh,
You got some good shit. I
Amen.
mean, seriously. And it's like high quality, I'm sure.
What's the name of it?
Do you have a preference?
My dealer is in the spirit realm, so you might gotta access it there.
Oh, come on, Pilot Man. You know what we're talking
Oh,
about.
we know
Yeah.
you're smoking, man.
Stop holding out on us. Stop.
Well, we're among friends here.
Yeah, but the knowledge I'm receiving might not necessarily depend on what's in the physical that y'all see I'm smoking. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't care about the knowledge. I just want the smoke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm-
Yeah, Dave's not in it
Well,
for the knowledge.
It's
He's
not
really
gonna do you
not.
any good if you're not in search.
We need a legal tobacco.
Which is
It's
not legal
gonna
in
do
your
you any good
area.
if you knowledge with it.
I don't know. Whatever you're smoking got you woke, and I need to be woke.
It's gonna turn into a bad habit.
Hey, I lived in Colorado. I could deal with a habit.
Well, hey, your lungs probably way better than mine. You right in the area for that. You probably don't even got it smoking. You can walk outside and just smell the toxins.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around some of the things you've said in your videos. So maybe you can kind of help me out. Like Uriel, where does that come from? Uriel, the angel, the archangel? No, is that like you are Uriel, or is that something you relate to?
Well, no, I am Uriel in the flesh.
Okay, Uriel in the flesh. Okay. So you're angelic.
Go on.
There's
I'm
a lot of
intrigued.
different dynamics. There's a lot of different dynamics that can go down of explaining it. If you even want to go to a religious text, there's nothing in the religious text that even explains that angels wasn't referred to as human at certain times. Certain times angels was referred to as just a messenger. So, there's a bunch of different frequency vibrations I got into that we can correlate to on Earth, as far as planetary alignments or as far as just energy signatures that I relate to or correlate with, that I can break down. And just in every kind of fashion or realm of reality, I came to the conclusion that I was Uriel.
Okay.
But it's not in the terms of
For sure.
me feeling like I've been possessed or me in some type of religious indoctrination. I really don't have any. I'm not even really lost in words, anything like that. It's all about what's actually happening, not what the word was created around it, but what's the actual signature behind it, and what have that role been playing all of our civilization.
Now, are there other angels out
So
there that are in like human form? I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Is that okay to put it in like that aspect?
Right here, Steve. Right here.
Well, yeah, Kyle's an angel, but I don't know
Right
which
there.
one.
Once we get that, which we could break that down also, but that's just giving you a heads up. Once we start to lose ourselves in that kind of angle of looking at it, that's forms of indoctrination.
Well, I'm okay. So you're the archangel Uriel, but there's many archangels, right? You got Gabriel, and you got I don't know, a lot of Michael, a lot of L's. Yeah. Are they on like is Kate an angel?
And sorry about
What angel's Kate?
that. What happened?
Oh, I'm just saying. Is anybody else here that's maybe an angel?
Me.
No, Frankie's no angel. I don't believe that. Sorry, it's not get crazy here.
If you really want to understand the concept of an angel is like a body. It's like a world, a concept, a worldview. You can look at it like a worldview or a concept or an idea or a certain frequency. And a lot of different people can play out this role. It doesn't necessarily have to be one person. It could be multiple people who kind of carry out this idea. Now, these first forms, these first bodies, is what we would call angels. Now, the indoctrinated versions of it is religion texts and things of that nature, and all that's getting indoctrinated. But the actual concept of an angel is just really like an idea that got a bunch of different layers that was created under that one specific idea. So look at it like a frequency. So there's a lot of frequencies that came from one kind of frequency. For an example, you might have something like love. There's a bunch of different frequencies that came up under love. You got appreciation, you got value, you got relativeness, you got compromising, but none of those are really higher than the frequency of just love in general. So if you was to play out the characteristics of love, you would basically be able to play out all the undertone attributes, but at the same time, the undertone attributes isn't necessarily the highest frequency itself. They're just offsprings. So you can get lost.
Sounds like correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of sounds like you're talking about a Fourier transformation, Landon. I mean, isn't kind of reminiscent of a Fourier?
I was thinking, although in mathematical terms, that unlike frequencies within
right.
A
let's try to take what he says and let's kind of elevate it and talk about it, because he's actually describing Fourier transformations in some ways.
I mean, he's just in describing things that don't exist. It's actually quite fascinating, and I must say he's also got really great voice and great alliteration and so forth. So
he's very charismatic.
Props for that.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it don't exist, because you actually use it every day. I mean, you understand the concept of love, you understand the concept of hate, you understand the concept of obtaining wisdom. You understand the concept of intellect. You understand the concept of structure. Now, you may have your own perception of how you see these things, but we're all pointing to the same thing in general. And you're not the intellectual property of that energy. So to say that it's made up is kind of, you really can't say that.
I mean, I don't know if you're using energy in the way that other people use energy, but I was referring to the non-existence of angels.
Well, the term itself is non-existent. That's where we get lost and get indoctrinated and start getting into what actual angel means. But when we understand the actual frequency of it, it could play out in any way, shape, or form. It could play out through any person. It'll just be a person, shape, or form playing out the attribute of what angel means in general. But we can't get lost into thinking that there's actual angels flying amongst the earth. But
what do you call a frequency?
A frequency is more like you could say like a thought. In our dimension we in right now, it would be like words, letters, and sigils and symbols, and then we make them vibrate by how we say them. So I can say in a nice calm way, that's like at a low frequency, or I can say at a hyper way, that's at a high frequency. So that's the vibration lets you know the intent of the frequency, but the frequency is the signature itself. So is doing a specific thing, but how it's doing it is based upon the vibration you give it. And that'll be how you will it into an existence, or if you leave it in the realm of thought, basically. Energy and attention, though, you can will that thought into existence. Now, the thought will be the frequency, whatever you're pointing to. I just use an example of but it could be anything. So just think about the language you use and all the words that we use with the language. These are already created by intellectual beings that already created these meanings for you. So when you use them, you're speaking into existence of the outlook of these frequencies. Now the vibration you give it is how much you will it into the existence of your life. So if you into a concept of feeling like I need to work, how much you put vibration into it is how much you're going to manifest, how much you're going to experience working. And that could go into love matters, whatever you're trying to learn, wisdom, knowledge, and all kind of realms of realities in this universe. But it's the way people are looking at things is what's creating all the indoctrinations and the lostness. Where really everything that I'm saying is stuff that we all do every day.
Well, it sounds like you have your own version of or own definition of what frequency is.
My own definition of what?
Of frequency.
Well, I put it to you this way. If it is my own definition, people who made up the definition of frequency will be able to use my example and it will still make sense.
Well, how do you think somebody like Landon would use the word frequency? Like when he's saying frequency, what do you think he means by that?
Well, however he's using it, he may be in a more lost form of using it. But I'm just trying to break it down to the most simple fashion of what it is. So it'll be no way around it. However he explained it, at the end of the day, it will come back to how I'm explaining it. Whether I got a lack of words of explaining it or not. What's more simple actually makes more sense in the actuality of things. So I just broke down frequency of what it just actually is. So who's ever breaking it down in their own way, still gonna come to my conclusion with a frequency. So I bet if you was to describe the way I explained it to the person, whoever you name, I bet you they agree with me.
Landon, you want to take that one?
Well, I mean, I think if you talk about the common use of the word frequency, although I'm sure there are ones I'm not familiar with, it's a number of occurrence of a repeating event over time, over a unit of time. So we typically talk about frequency as in blah blah per second, if the unit of time is a second. So it's typically talking about a repeating event. And that's the typical thing is that's for example, that's an example of a temporal frequency. There's also spatial frequency or angular frequency of a repeating event over a unit of space or a unit of angle. And so if you talk about something like your heart beats 60 beats per minute, you're talking about a temporal frequency. If you're talking about a electromagnetic wave, you're going to be talking about cycles per second of light as an example.
Now you see what's happening. You see what's happening. What I just did, I basically explained where all of that came from. So adding on to it is just basically more indoctrination. But yeah, all of those different forms and shapes are different forms of frequency. But the initial, what that energy is actually doing is just basically what I explained. When something starts, it has to add on. You can replace all that with lie. Once you start a lie, the lie has to keep going. So you can look at that with sound, light, and then we get into hertz as far as frequency, and that's how we get the energy of building of sounds and how sounds start to come together. It's frequency, and once that go out, it relates and add other frequencies to it, and then it starts to vibrate. Then it gets to manifest, and then that's where you get sound.
Vibration is a frequency, right? I mean, frequency literally is how many times something happens in a certain interval of time.
Vibration is the frequency vibrating. So look at it like someone's on the deathbed. The frequency is if they're dead, flat line. But if the person is alive, you see that flat line going up and down. That's the vibration. So that means that person is, that'd be the vibration of that person, basically.
I mean, the other thing that seems like the term you're using quite loosely is energy. So in order to try and determine what you're saying, you need to actually define what you call energy.
From non-physical to physical. Things take time to transform or to come into density. That's what I call it. That's energy. It could be felt. You have uncertainty that manifests into energy that's seen.
Okay, so...
So energy flows. Energy continues to go. Energy like to make itself a part of other energy. And energy takes shape and form. So when you see particles or gas or whatever y'all want to call it in the scientific terms, that's just all bodies of energy taking new shapes and forms and coming together to create new hyper shapes and forms and things of that nature. So you get to what we got today. So that's energy, but energy comes from frequency vibration. Something has to be a frequency first,
well,
then it has to vibrate.
Depends on your... It depends. All energy means is something that you take from one thing to another to have something done. You have work done. If you have higher frequencies, you're going to have higher energies, right? Based upon if it's a photon, electromagnetic radiation, it's more energetic, right? But energy itself is just the ability, basically, to do work in a nutshell.
And because in physics, uses energy to talk about a property.
Yeah, it's something that transferred from one to, like heat.
That in order to perform work on
like heat is always transferred from a higher energy concentration to a lower energy concentration, and by the flow of heat, you can do work by that, right? So it's a thermal energy that's being conveyed from one place to another.
Now I recognize that there are colloquial, the versions of energy, and there sort of is there are definitions that people talk about of energy that don't really fit the physics definition, but it sounds like maybe that's part of what's being said here.
By the way, I want to welcome Rags to our
trying to-
clusterfuck here. By the way, welcome to Rum and Coke night.
Oh, I'm enthralled.
God help you.
No,
I have no responsibility for this, brother. And by the way, you should be drinking something. So
Clusterfuck here, by the way. Welcome to Rum and Coke night.
we got background noise.
Should be rum and rum night.
I didn't
Hey,
even
man.
go through to ask what everybody else was drinking. It was just Landon, because Landon had like 4 things he was drinking. Frankie, what do you got?
Mm-hmm.
You're dry tonight, aren't you?
I got nothing.
You got nothing. He's an odd man out.
You
need
Dave,
something.
I need something, but I don't have anything.
Dave, what do
right
you
now.
got? Because you started earlier today.
Rum and Coke.
Oh, you're the
Actual
man.
proper rum and Coke.
He's old school, right? I mean, he's got it going on. Kate, you got anything to drink tonight?
I guess I'm apostate.
You're more of a
Does weed
newer,
count?
newer. Kate, you drinking tonight?
Only if you drink it.
Why is Kate looking at
It
me like
might
I'm
come
crazy?
to that, Rags. It might come to that.
No shit.
Oh,
I can
shit,
give
she
you
got
a
Captain
recipe on how
Morgan's.
to drink weed. So.
Fuck you all. She got Captain Morgan's.
I was just thinking about you, Frankie. As soon as that came out of my mouth, I was like, I bet you Frankie's done
Yeah,
that.
Kate's not messing around,
I
people.
got recipes.
I'm impressed.
See?
All
I
right,
can't see Kate.
Red Eye, what do you got?
I can't see.
I've got every barbiturate known to man.
I bet you do. I bet you do.
Yeah, but all his drinks are upside down. That's
Yeah, with all the
that.
shit that's down there that's going to kill you, you might as well take some barbiturates.
Because
right?
I know that people down under have to have our harnesses to not fall off the earth.
Spontaneous
But I'm
harness
wondering what
failure.
they do with their drinks.
Yeah, how do you keep your
Where's
harnesses
Australia
going?
in a wave?
Yes, Kate. By the way,
Where would
I don't know if
Australia
you
be in a wave
froze,
Earth?
but we can see your rum and Coke, Kate. I'm jelly.
Yeah, I thought the Earth was a wave. Australia should be okay.
You think?
I think Kate's in frozen land.
I think she's stuck on the Captain Morgan's. That's a good way. You know what? That's a cool way to get stuck, though.
We're just floating through space on the cosmic ruffle chip.
Oh man, dude.
That is
I
our
actually like that.
Now
beautiful
this is getting
salt of
deep.
the Earth.
Cosmic ruffle
That's
chip.
why they call it the salt of the Earth, because we're on a big floating cosmic ruffle chip.
See
All
what he
right,
did
you
there?
you know
See
you
what
know
he
the
did?
Pilot Man's dealer, don't you?
That was the best thing I heard all night.
No
Dude.
shit.
And by the way,
Dude, you're awesome,
Pilot Man,
You're
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just looking for something that I could either agree or disagree with. So
We're,
Right,
we're,
yeah, I understand.
we're seeking clarification.
Right, I understand.
You might have found your soulmate there, the Pilot Man with Rags. And yeah, Muppets, you want to get him message me, but I got to get Atheist Ranger in here first if anybody drops. But it's a waiting list.
I do got to go ahead and jump off here, so I'll go ahead and drop. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Frankie. Riff, don't drop.
thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah. Stick around, buddy.
Stick around, man. It gets
Oh, God
worse.
damn it.
Damn it.
Gonna have to beat him up on Pick Show when he's there next.
Yeah.
Why
You
did
Australians
bail on
always running
Steve,
people
you
off.
Traitor.
No shit, right? All right. Let me get to Atheist Ranger. Muppets, you want? Yeah, message me. I'll get you a link. Let me get to Atheist Ranger first, like I promised him I would, and I keep my promises.
So, Pilot Man, how did you come across this wisdom? Like, when were you first brought to it? I guess?
Imbued with this type of revelation.
He could be self-taught. Give him some credit.
Do you think that you can cover this
That's-
knowledge self-taught?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
He's saying the best stuff all night. He's pretty much right. He's
Damn.
going-
Fuck,
Who
man.
taught the first philosopher? I don't know.
Stop breaking my brain.
Holy shit! This is getting too deep for even me.
I try to put myself in a situation where
Who taught
like
the first
how the
philosopher?
people everybody is learning from. So when everybody learning from Tesla or everybody learning from the first, Plato's or Aristotle, with all these people, I'm trying to learn the way they learned. So I just grew up trying to not be indoctrinated in any type of way, shape, or form.
What is
Do you have any
indoctrination?
proteges?
You said what happened? You said I got any protege. No, I don't.
Yeah, I
have,
was wondering if you had any.
No, but he does
no,
have.
I
I
don't.
mean,
I don't.
you don't have a church, but
I don't
you
even
do.
want no protege.
You have like a little. I mean, I don't want to like dox you or anything, but you kind of do. Would it safe? Can I say readings? Is that okay? Readings for people?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I have a soul group, but I don't necessarily have no mini me's or no. I'm not no guru or I'm not no leader in any way, shape, or
Yeah,
form.
Oh, but we have so
I
much
got
to
you.
Just
learn. We
somebody.
could. I'm
So
willing to be
much
a.
So
humility.
what is
So much
what
humility.
is indoctrination? What is indoctrination? And is it a
Being
good thing or a bad thing?
with indoctrination, adding on to any literature or language. That's indoctrination. So the moment you add your own perception on what's being read in front of you is a form of indoctrination. Whether you think you're getting unindoctrinated or whether it's something you believe in, no matter what end of the stick you're on, the moment you add your own perception on anybody else's idea is a lie and indoctrination.
So have you indoctrinated yourself by adding
No,
your own perception?
no, because
I was just getting too deep.
I learned like the people who indoctrinated everybody else learned. So I came to the realization that everything came from the start. That's why I teach what I teach.
Oh, where do you begin?
Oh, you know
I don't
what?
know.
Pick a place, buddy. Pick a place.
So I
This is
guess
fascinating.
if we go through, if that's what you consider indoctrination, I mean, but you didn't. Oh boy.
Careful,
Yeah,
one step at a
what's
time.
What's your original source? I guess.
What's my original source? The
Yeah.
planet. Just
All
going
right.
outside.
All right. So from an outside observer, how would one look at you and say that you're not indoctrinated, but another person might be indoctrinated? What would be the key feature to separate you two for one of us, for instance?
How would you differentiate between
Because
indoctrinated and non-indoctrinated?
I'm not
Yeah.
talking about what you guys are talking about in the same way.
So
I look
each
at
Sure.
so I may look at it the way I look at it is in a more simple way, and I look at every other way is just an added on version of what I'm already talking about.
But how do you
So you're
differentiate?
your
Like,
own source.
if you're woke and Rags ain't woke, how do you determine he ain't woke compared to your woke?
Well, I look at it like y'all way of looking at woke. I don't look at me as I'm being woke. I look at woke as it being a form of being consciously aware. And being too consciously aware of everything in front of you is the reason why people get lost in the light in the first place. So people who I say is woke is people who use a lot of logic, or people who may refer too much to the physical realm and try to portray everything to the physical realm in some way, shape, or form. And when they don't find it, it becomes dialogue or argument or debates.
are
I love this guy.
frequencies part of the physical realm?
It manifests into the physical realm, but it's not really a part of the physical realm.
They do
It
seem to
creates
be a big part of
it,
your.
And
it creates the
astrology
physical
as well,
realm.
as I'm not mistaken, Da Pilotman, correct? Astrology is a big part of your paradigm, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I teach.
You teach astrology, sure.
Knowledge of the stars.
Yeah, so basically you presuppose astrology and no other knowledge can be gained unless one presupposes astrology, correct?
Yes, everything came from the stars. The moment we start thinking something came from a man is where we get lost.
Work
Man
with that,
didn't
Rags. Work
create
with that.
only
But
there.
All right.
But you
go ahead.
said that indoctrination was adding on to text. Who's to say that the author of the text wasn't indoctrinated?
That's why I don't jump into any forms of indoctrination. Because most likely,
So you can't read
most likely
anything?
the author is indoctrinated.
So basically, what you're saying is you can't read anything because what you read, anything you read, could be the source or could be have came from a source that was indoctrinated, and you just continue the cycle of indoctrination, right?
Stuff is good, but you have to learn life for yourself first. Then once you learn something for yourself first, then you have something to correlate with when you're reading whatever you're reading. So it don't be like what you're reading becomes the reality. It becomes that whatever you're reading about is about reality.
Mm-hmm.
So if you already know reality, you will be able to perceive everything that's coming from reality.
So
But if you get lost in someone's explanation about reality, then you will find yourself having to learn for decades of your reality.
would you say that being said, would you consider intuition to be the surest path to truth?
What is truth?
Whatever reality is.
Well, you could say that truth is what corresponds with reality, or you could.
If truth is what corresponds to reality, what is
one type of
actually
truth,
happening.
Yeah. There's different ways to define truth. That's just one way, if you want to say that.
Yeah, I like that one.
You like
that
corresponds
right
theory.
to me.
Okay. You're simple.
So,
I like
and
deflation.
as you call yourself
I know,
a so-called astrologer, and I'm interested in your belief around astrology.
Right.
What would you say would govern, let's say, an intelligent being in another galaxy that doesn't have access to our zodiac?
Well, I think that's the misconception with astrology. That might be a form of horoscopic astrology or something like that, but that's how we can tell what's going on locally. So this is how we kind of correlate the weather and things of that nature. But when we start to talk about other universes and things of that nature, once we start to understand astrology in general, as far as the stars, then we can kind of see what's relative to us and what will be relative to whatever star you're trying to express yourself in, wherever it's at, basically.
Mm-hmm. So are there different truths for different planets?
What you mean by truths?
That which corresponds to reality.
Different things that correspond to reality. So, like, for example, the truth for me on the planet Earth, whether it be triangular, spherical, wavical, whatever, if I go to another solar system in some other distant galaxy, is truths changing? Or is it going to be like 1 + 1 no longer equals 2? Am I still not going to be as good looking as I would be on another planet? You know, do facts change?
Yeah, as we go to different planets and galaxies, the positions of stars and I assume astrology would be different. So would someone arrive at different conclusions based on the planet you were on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we. It's kind of like you going into another realm. So, for an example, we have been going through shifts, but it'll play out as in shifts of consciousness. So we'll start thinking in different ways, start coming up with different technologies and things of that nature. That's how it plays out. But as far as you saying, if we was to go to another solar system or something like that, that's kind of the wrong concept. It's kind of like you being birthed into realms of realities. You always have to be birthed.
Well, may I ask what is a realm? When you say realm, what do you mean by that? A realm of reality?
Well, right now we in the Earth realm. So Earth represents stability, practicality, construct.
So is a realm a physical place like a planet?
It's just a realm of reality. So it's kind of it's physical because of the energy we put into it. But for the most part, it's just the way how our alignments is lining up. And the way that they are lining up is creating what we call Earth, but it's like the realm. So when you see the moon, the sun, everything is in the realm of Earth. So Earth correlates in a way of structure, practical solutions, and growth. And nurture.
You're actually saying you're literally saying there's multiple different types of realities, though.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. The way y'all looking at planets is not the way
they're not just physical.
This is why if you go into space with a spaceship, you won't see no stars.
Wait,
actually, you will see stars.
Yeah, you. What do you mean you won't see stars if you go up in a spaceship? Why wouldn't you see stars?
You have to be in a realm that actually reflect light. If you take a spaceship and fly out into space, you're not in no realm to reflect any light, so you won't see any star light.
Actually, now you've said something which is wrong.
Yeah, before you weren't even wrong. Now I think you're just wrong on this one.
Yeah, before I was on. I'm on board.
Yeah, it's not even wrong, so it's interesting. This is actually just wrong.
You've been in a spaceship and seen a star. You've seen the sun in a spaceship when you went in space.
I've been part of teams that sent craft out to see stars. Yes.
You got proof. They took pictures when they was in space and with the star shot.
He's an astronomer. Yeah, he's an astronomer, computer scientist, and mathematician. He's been on a lot of different expeditions.
Yes, and in fact, we've got things out in space that take pictures of stars all the time.
And he's a drinker too.
Yeah.
So by the way, I want to be sure you understand when I made the phrase "you're not even wrong."
Did the picture come from a satellite, or did it come from someone in space in a spaceship taking pictures?
Well, actually, I've actually talked to astronauts that also have seen stars.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious though. Why would you think that you wouldn't be able to see stars in outer space? I mean, what would be, the stars don't reflect light. I mean, they have their own light. They have intrinsic light because of the fusion that goes on, and they produce light in visible range, among other frequencies. So why would you think that just by going up to space you wouldn't be able to see them?
No, the reason you even see any of the lights outside of this realm you in is because of the reflection of the particles, and with those particles. So that when you see the sky, which y'all think is the sky, that's not even necessarily the sky.
Oh,
the sky
shit.
is actually nighttime.
What is
Sky
it
is
then?
actually night. When you see in the morning, when you see the sunrise, you're seeing the interactions between the elements of the earth and between the elements of that particle or whatever sunlight beam that y'all seeing in the sky. So the relationship that they have is what y'all seeing as an atmosphere. But the true sky is at nighttime when the sun actually is away from our area of position when we on Earth. You see what I'm
What do you
saying?
mean a true sky?
As
Well,
opposed to a false sky?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. Yeah, that would have been a great game. They would have had more time to develop it.
You get indoctrinated and you start to learn about what the sky is, and the sky is beautiful. A lot of people is referring to in the daytime, but the ancients knew that the true reason why I say it's the true sky because that's really the only sky. So even when the sky is up and y'all can't see what's behind it, that's still there. So that's still really the sky.
Well,
It's
I agree. I mean, people think that the daytime the sky goes away.
No, they don't.
It's just being crowded by the
they don't
scattering
think
of
that, Landon.
on oxygen, and so the sky is still there. In fact, when radio astronomers use radio telescopes to look at the sky, not bothered by the rarely scattering of, for example, of oxygen or nitrogen, we see the objects out there just as plain as it was nighttime. It's just a matter of what sunlight's doing.
right.
Well, actually, when you see the blue sky, what you're seeing is blue photons from the sun being scattered in the fog of.
Hey, Rags, take over for me for a minute, will you? Good luck with that.
Oh, you bet. I got this
thank
one. You bet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So my reasoning of saying that is that's why we get all the stories of men coming from the east or things of that nature. Because when the sun rises, it appears to rise on the east. So in the ancient times, a lot of the beings at that time used to follow and travel the sun. So they gave it all kind of other names and deities, but really they thought that following the sun would follow them to the land of milk and honey or something like that. So when the sun go down, that's when they stop and set up shop. But then they used to correlate the nighttime to a bunch of mysticism and things of that nature and creatures coming out at night. Then when the sun come back up and rise at high noon, that's when they get back up on their travels and go. So this is where you're going to get all religion stories about something traveling from the east and things of that nature. But that's all really what it is, basically.
Well, may I ask, we touched on religion very briefly. I'm curious, of all the religions that you know of, are there any that you believe are the most correct or closest to the truth?
You see, once again, we get lost in what are we saying truth? Because all the Bibles or religions or whatever, they're very clear on what they're saying. It's just when man start to put this own perception on what it's trying to say is when things get lost. So what do you mean by truth?
What do you mean by they're saying? I mean, the Bibles don't say.
I mean, which religion do you think aligns most with what you believe is actually going on?
Look, all religions is talking about the same thing. It's just each civilization way of trying to explain it. So they're all talking about the same thing. And so reason why I keep asking you is what you mean is truth is because what is truth to you? What may be true to you may not be true to me. But I understand the religious text.
Well, the question is, what do you consider the most truthful of all the religions?
Ooh, good question.
Well, they all got truth.
Yeah, that was a great question, Steve. He asked a really good one.
They all
Sean
got
has
truth.
occasionally good questions. By the way, I made a very fantastic another Brandy Alexander.
Sarcasm.
No, Sean does.
Do you want to talk about an indoctrination that came out of it, but I'm telling you that
if you sat down in a room with the worldly or like an expert or a wise man of every religion, and you had a chat with them, walking out of that room, who do you think who's closest to you?
I would
right?
tell them they all saying the same thing. It's just y'all all got your own different way of saying it.
Well, this actually leads back to the whole reason why I wanted to join this hangout.
Do you want to know?
You actually said something that caught my ear early on. You said that you don't follow anybody else's indoctrination. You made up your own view of the world. And my question is
I didn't make up the world. I didn't make up the world. I'm observing the world.
No, you made up your own view of the world. You're basically making your own rules up in your own way. You're not following anybody else's teachings. You said this.
That's what y'all doing. That's what I'm saying. That's what y'all doing. The world never. The light never
this is what you were doing. This is actually what caught my ear and why I wanted to come in here, because I wanted to ask you what you have done to test out your hypotheses.
Yeah, that's why I asked about intuition.
We talking about hypotheses again. See, you trying to create a way, or you're clinging on to someone else's way. What I'm telling you is, you can go observe the life for yourself, and once you understand that, you will understand what you was reading, and you won't be lost in someone else's idea of what you was reading.
But see, if you're coming up with new ways to see the world, you have to test those to see if they are correct.
See, no, if you really wanted to ask a smart question, the question will be, how do I see the religion in general? Not which one is right or wrong. The real question you should be asking is, how do I see it in general that it even allow me to tell them that they all saying the same thing?
Well, see, now you're contradicting yourself, because you said that you don't follow anybody else's teachings because they're all indoctrinated, so you've come up with your own thing. And I'm asking you what you have done to test your own thing, and you're dish-galloping.
They're indoctrinated. And I'm just telling them, if they just look at life itself.
Let me remind you of the quote. You're doing the same thing that Plato did. You're doing the same thing that who was the other one? Aristotle. You're coming up with your own things, but you haven't tested any of them to find out if they're correct.
Yes. No, see, you're doing that. How's I'm doing that?
Because you're the one that made the claim. You said that you're doing your own thing by doing the same thing that Aristotle did, that Plato did, and now you're changing your story because you're.
For example, you made the claim you can't see the stars out in outer space.
Right.
That's been refuted.
How? You ain't show no proof. You ain't been in space and took no pictures, or you didn't show no pictures.
I've been at above 70,000 feet elevation, and I've seen.
So that ain't been refuted. Until you show that proof, that's when we can build on that dialogue. So that haven't been refuted.
Well, Pilot, when he says that it's been refuted, and you said, "Well, were you there?" My question would be, have you been there?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to use that as the same evidence against him to say, well, he hasn't been there, you can aptly be applied to you as well. But we all know people have been in space
there.
Unless you call everyone that says it's been there a liar. We've had 500 some odd plus people go to outer space. Are all of them lying?
We've put cameras out there and taken pictures.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, Hubble has taken. How long has Hubble been up there now? It's taken.
And by the way, I don't see. I mean, it's kind of curious why you think you can't see stars, because they're they're always there, just like the sky is always there. You can see stars now at nighttime. So why would you think that when you leave the atmosphere, they all of a sudden go away?
Because you're not in a vehicle to reflect that kind of light. So you're not going to be. That's like going to space without.
Okay. Let me try to address this. Are you saying that light cannot be seen through a vacuum? Is that your claim?
What is a vacuum?
The lack of air, the lack of atmosphere.
Lack of matter.
Lack of matter. Well, I guess if you put it in those terms, you can say that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Have you seen channels like the Action Lab, Cody's Lab, channels like that? They actually have vacuum chambers that they put objects in. If your theory was correct, you would not be able to see those objects.
How did we get lost in saying this is a theory or whatever? It's like y'all trying to.
You're coming up with a hypothesis that you can't see stars in space.
I don't want to argue about theories. Let's argue about facts.
Well, I'm presenting you a fact that, going by your logic, you could not see any objects inside of a vacuum chamber.
Because we have cameras out in space that are taking pictures of stars all the time.
Yeah,
it's actually very
Reg
useful.
Rhetoric's got footage of the ISS traversing the moon, mate, on his channel.
Yeah, he's got 1 million
He's got
views on
footage
that
of the ISS going across the face of the moon. How do we see that if it's in
views.
the vacuum?
Rags doesn't even
How do
have
we
1
see
million
it?
views on any of his videos.
I
He's got like
do,
a 250,000
actually.
subs. Fuck you, you do not. Shut up. I do.
I 3.7 million. I do.
Fuck off.
So I will to space
Alright,
where it's
fine.
very dark. I hear. Wow.
Do you really
so
have, you have a
I
video
would
with
then ask
3.7 million views?
Yeah, the Battlefield 1 sexist video
Oh,
that
nice.
blew up, got 3.7 million.
Did it have tits and ass in it? Is that why?
Sometimes you strike it lucky.
Yeah.
I would be
Whatever.
curious though if we can't see the stars in space, but we have all these spacecraft and astronauts and things up there right now. I would wonder why they would all lie to us. I would be curious what the point is of fabricating this information would be.
And not just us, but every country has to be into this. I mean, because NASA is not in other countries, so every single country has to be going. Yeah, you know what? We got to keep the secret from the masses, from the plebes,
from the
local
globies.
areas.
Yeah,
screw them. They don't need to know any about this actual
frickin' globies.
whatever science. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, those arguments y'all coming up with is for flat earthers.
Well, the same applies here. I'm wondering if, since you said that we can't see stars in space out in the vacuum, if you left Earth, you wouldn't be able to see the stars, and we tell you that cameras and satellites and astronauts who are in orbit right now who could see them, and they have all this evidence and video and photography to show us.
I never seen none of these videos.
Let me
you
ask
have
this.
the internet at your fingertips. It's not difficult to look it up.
Let me ask this. I've been
from satellite. I don't see no stars from people in a spaceship taking pictures out there.
Well, Doelow, let me ask you this, because I actually have been talking to the Action Lab today quite a bit. And I'd like to propose an experiment for him to do with you in mind. I'm going to ask him to put 2 GoPro cameras inside of his vacuum chamber and see if they can see each other when he draws the vacuum.
No experiments. And this is just as far as indoctrination and stuff like that.
No, this is not indoctrination. This is actually
Sean?
testing out your hypothesis. What's that, Steve?
Is that what he's actually claiming? I hate straw men. So, to pilot, are you actually claiming though? You think that if light is traveling in a vacuum where there's no medium, that light will not pass through it? Because light doesn't need a medium; it actually generates its own medium as it propagates.
Light passes through a lot of things, but depending on where you at and how it reflects, is the only way you're going to be able to see it.
So he's saying if there's nothing there to reflect the light, you can't see it. So
okay.
a vacuum
so what
chamber,
happens if
2
it's
cameras
directly
would not be able
pointed
to
at
see
you?
each other.
Though? I mean, let's say like somebody takes a laser and points it right at your eye. It's not reflecting off anything. Would you be able to see it through a vacuum?
What happened?
If you're in a vacuum and I shine a light in Landon's eyes, and he's like a mile away, would he be able to see that beam of light, even though it's a vacuum? If assuming that he's not dead because of lack of air and all that, but
or too much light.
Yeah. Would he be able to see that light?
I don't know. I don't know. That's like saying like if you in space from Earth and you pointing a laser on another planet, can a person that's in between both planets see the laser going from one?
No,
place
not
to
really,
another?
because there would have to be a really powerful laser. I'm talking about little handheld little laser.
Exactly. My point exactly.
Well, a star is not exactly a handheld laser, is it?
But it doesn't need to be. It just has light irradiated from all different, radiating from all different directions.
So let me assure you that when you, for example, you see images from Hubble, it's a camera out in space taking lots of amazing pictures of a particular element of the spectrum, visible light spectrum.
Like that didn't go.
When we have, for example, the New Horizons craft going past Pluto and sending us back pictures, it's taking pictures, it's seeing light from Pluto as it's zipping.
Tesla got launched. Was it today or yesterday? Got launched. The test satellite.
Actually, Pluto is a planet. It's a dwarf planet.
Yeah, it's a.
All that sounds good.
But we literally just put another planet-seeking satellite up in space on one of the Falcon 9s. I watched part of it.
That stuff sounds good to get. I might even get into it from time to time. It sounds good.
Check it out, man, for sure.
But I mean, I would suggest that you you drop the you can't see stars in space because it doesn't seem to be
It's not a good
relevant to
argument,
the rest
yeah.
of the stuff you're saying.
Not a good argument.
Well, until you on something on a ship that's similar to the lights that you're going to be reflecting in space, you're not going to be seeing any of those in space until you get proof.
But we
I still don't.
We have pictures from space.
For example, we see the stars up in the sky. And
Earth.
we send and from Earth, and we send rockets up beyond Earth's atmosphere, and they take pictures, and they see the same same set of stars.
Let me ask a simple question. If you light a candle, can you see the light from the candle?
On Earth?
On Earth. What is it reflecting off of?
The elements that you are around in Earth.
No, it's a direct line of sight to your eyeball. It is not reflecting off of anything.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
you are seeing the light source.
I'm trying to think why he thinks.
So how do you even look at seeing? You think you're looking out? That's how you think seeing is.
But
you think you're looking out?
If you have a photon leaving an object,
I want to hear his answer. How do he see seeing? Do you think seeing is looking out? That's how you look at seeing?
No,
how do you see seeing, Sean?
Photons are emitted from something, and we see those photons as they enter our eye.
Yeah, they hit the retina.
Okay, so
we see them.
As they stimulate the retina. That's
it.
So
There's no reflection involved.
So you it's understood that when you're looking, you're receiving. You're looking out. You're receiving light, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, you're not transmitting.
Oh, okay.
They used to think that when you were looking at something, you were actually transmitting as well as receiving, but that was
and the Hubble is receiving photons from stars outside of Earth.
So look at it this way, from your perspective. You're in like a pool. Let's just hypothetically say like you're in a pool. Now the way how things reflecting from your eye, how you're receiving light from how it's bouncing off from the rim you are in, and say it's like a pool. That's how you're going to perceive outside of it. Now, if you was to get out of the pool, how you going to see what you was perceiving when your eyes may perceive it from within the pool?
You start off false. I mean, the electromagnetic radiation goes to a receptor, which records the receiving of that magnetic radiation. Just like, for example, the Hubble has detectors that detect the presence of electromagnetic radiation that it receives from out in the stars. And in fact, the images we see at night correlate with what the Hubble sees at night, as an example.
Yeah, and it's not just visible light. I mean, we also can detect things like muons. We can detect neutrinos. We can look at the sun and go, okay, we're detecting a very specific type of neutrino that only can be explained by certain types of reactions called proton-proton reactions. We know what's happening inside the sun because of what we're detecting. And we can do that with a lot of stars. We see things in a lot of different wavelengths as well.
Again, I would suggest you sort of drop this notion that you can't see photons out in space, because we have plenty of things that do.
Yeah.
I would also ask if the reason we see the light here on the Earth realm is because it bounces off the elements around us, or it reflects off the elements around us. Wouldn't that mean that we see even clearer outside the Earth realm without all that stuff getting in the way?
Right?
No.
Why not?
Oh.
Because we're made of the stuff that we're receiving. So once
photons?
you put
What?
Are you seriously claiming we're made of photons?
once you put yourself in a space, keyword space, that a bunch of elements you wasn't made out of, how are you going to see any reflection? Your eyes are
There's no
burned up.
reflection. You don't need reflection to see something. You just need a photon.
Oh wait, so the elements around us like dampen the pure light from the stars?
Well,
so
they obscure light a little bit, obviously. The atmosphere does,
that
sure.
mimic eye. Yeah, we can do that all day. Mimic satellites that mimic the eye, and cameras and stuff like that, and it don't go past the belt, so it's still going to receive things from an atmospheric type of way, and it may even see it in a sharper image, or which I quote unquote may say a sharper image. But that still doesn't prove that we actually seeing the stars if we were in space on the spaceship.
But what are we seeing then? If
So,
we take pictures of something and we see a bunch of lights,
we
can see galaxies. I mean, I can look at a galaxy on the Earth, and if I can see it on the Earth, I should even see it clearer above the atmosphere.
Yeah. So when I was at 70,000 feet, I could see most of the atmosphere below me, and I was seeing things like Saturn and Jupiter and so forth. Was I just fooling myself? Was I indoctrinated?
Good
You
question.
said if you just
Massinosis?
seen. You said if
Really
you
good
seen,
drugs.
I was at 17,000 feet elevation.
Land has been really high
and
before.
I
like,
was
really,
seeing,
really high.
I was seeing things out in outer space that I expected to see because I knew where they were on the ground, and I looked and I saw them.
We've all been that high seeing things.
You want me to answer a hypothetical question?
No, actual question.
You said if.
Well,
I
no,
said,
no,
I
he's done this.
have
It's not an
been-
if. It's not a hypothetical. He's been there, done that.
So you said you've been above the belt.
What
You've
belt
been
are you
close to
talking
the-
about?
What? No.
Been
I-
on.
There's
No,
no
that's
proof
not
we
what he
actually
said.
even been in space.
Are you kidding me?
All right. Well, did you know that there are channels on YouTube here where they have live feeds of like space stations?
That's just another atmosphere.
No, they're above it. They're above the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Above what?
Yeah.
Above what atmosphere?
The Earth's atmosphere.
How many atmospheres
Where
would you
does
need to be
Earth at?
above if you're on the Earth?
'Cause I
You have one atmosphere,
the
so
realm.
different layers.
So how can something be above Earth realm?
Like, do you think that they can just open a window on the ISS and get a breath of fresh air? Do you?
Ventilation.
Because if you do, I'm going to go wow and head to the pub at this point and drink myself into oblivion.
The
Wow.
way y'all
Dude.
look at it is
Landon came
wrong.
prepared for that tonight, so he's already like well on his way.
But for the record, I've gone to Scotch.
He knew
So
what he
I've
was
gone
getting
from
himself into. By the way,
Wayne to
I
Scotch.
honestly want to say this, to Pilot. I'm glad that you're actually taking this in stride, and we're having
I'm
fun.
thrilled.
And
And by the way,
I
and
listen
Pilot,
to your
and
channel,
I've-
dude. I'm not fronting. I find it to be very flowery and poetic. It's not even wrong, but it's poetic.
Highest respect.
Yeah.
And you've got a great voice and a
You
great
do.
cadence as well.
I think you probably underestimate your
highest
talents. You
respect on
just
there.
kind of like took it in a different direction.
I'm not trolling you.
I'm not either.
I hope you know that.
I think
We're using our Socratic method here to learn more about.
Platform. Don't take my manner as I'm coming in an aggressive way or anything. No, I highly respect y'all.
No, we don't. No. You're chill, dude. Totally chill.
Yeah, it's just all good and building dialogue, and
So back to atmospheres.
Right.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, to go back to atmosphere. I'm still trying to figure this one out as well. So,
So the space stations that we can receive live feeds from. That. Oh, by the way, I was related to that. I saw. I went hiking last weekend, and I saw one of the Russian space shuttles go up to the space station to like give it supplies and stuff. We saw that. You can track where it'll be, and you
that wasn't.
see it.
Probably not.
It was like the Russian one. I forget what it's called. I
Sean
forget
knows
what it was called.
Sean, what's the Russian space agency called? Do you remember?
I have no idea, actually.
It was like
it's
a
not
Russian
NASA, I do know
it was like a resupply thing that they send up there, and it streaked across the sky really quick. So like I've seen this stuff like happen and everything. So I'm curious why you don't think that it's true, or why you don't believe that like the live feeds and things aren't really a representation of all this stuff going up, really high over our heads.
I never said that. I mean, however high they going, they still in some form of atmosphere. So I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying. What I'm saying is, what is the point? What is your argument? Like,
Well,
what is the...
if you say they're in some kind of atmosphere, maybe we understand what atmospheres are differently. Would you say that the atmosphere is like the border of the Earth realm?
You got the stratosphere. Look, you got all the way starting at the ground.
All
They
right.
go all the way up into however name scientists gave them, to the stratosphere, the atmosphere, to all these.
Because
There's
we
a
can
certain
trust the scientists for that, but
No, what I'm saying is we saying the same thing. You
Okay.
still can receive a reflection of light from that area.
yeah, from the stratosphere. So
You
once
kind of
you
make
go,
it in the middle of space or something like that, and y'all seeing a star or something like that. What I'm saying, we saying the same thing. Y'all not that high up. Whatever you're trying to say is high. That's really not that high.
So the probe that went past Pluto, which is pretty high up from Earth's standpoint, that saw stuff. What do you say about that? I mean, you're talking about things that are several billion kilometers.
You said we passed Pluto?
Yes. In fact, it's heading towards, and at the beginning of the year, it's heading towards a new object is going to go past. But yes, it New Horizons went past Pluto.
I'm
This hangout's out there.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Just to give a little frame of reference here, the atmospheric density at 450 kilometers, which is about where the ISS is 1.96 to the negative 12 kilograms per cubic meter.
Pretty thin.
Pretty thin.
And out at Pluto, it's really, really thin. But we have spacecraft that are way far out there that also take marvelous views of the heavens. Now, but you keep talking about reflections. I mean, in the case, for example, of something like New Horizons, the photons go directly to the detector. There's no reflections going on.
Getting lost in forms of indoctrination. See, this is what I mean. Once we
this is measured air pressure.
Once we start trying to argue how we perceiving something, then that's when we get lost. When really we saying the same thing, but y'all trying to extend it and come with hypotheticals that we left Pluto and saying
it's not a hypothetical.
No, I mean not a hypothetical. We've sent a spacecraft past Pluto. In fact, I worked very hard to get that spacecraft launched and make sure that it stayed funded. And also made sure that we had a deep space network that would receive its signals, and we received them, and they were just an amazing event. We as planet Earth have sent cameras past Pluto, and it was
you might just like what you be told. I'm not a person that just
no. I'm part of the team that did it.
And I helped pay for it.
Okay, what do we waste our money?
Thank you.
The furries pay for everything.
We funded you to get into a spaceship to fly past Pluto. That's what you're saying?
No, no.
You didn't say
I helped
a rocket. There's
ensure that the spacecraft went past Pluto.
A spacecraft or a rocket?
A spacecraft. Yeah, a spacecraft doesn't necessarily have to be him in a spaceship. Those two are not the same thing.
So nobody was in it, right? Nobody was in it.
No, you don't have to have somebody in it, though. There's these wonderful things called cameras.
You know how long it takes to get to Pluto?
All right, so check this out. If nobody was in it and we built some satellites or some cameras that mimic the eye, that'll go to Pluto, then you're proving my point once again. It either was a satellite or a rocket that you were saying, but it was nobody in a spaceship in space taking pictures of these planets.
All right,
but no human has
we have people in the International Space Station now, though, so that should prove it there.
In fact, I had a nice conversation with a gentleman on an International Space Station. I had a conversation with a guy, and he was describing. I was having him look at near the North Celestial Pole and the South Celestial Pole, and he was able to see that up and down. He's able to see stars out there. It's not.
I think
hard.
The question. I think.
And again, I don't understand why you think we can't see that people can't see light out there.
Well, that's the kind of question I wanted to go to.
Why
would it matter? Let's say that everybody here is right. Let's say that everything we've studied, everything we've looked into, everything Landon has done firsthand. If we're all right, would you be willing to go, you know what? Maybe I was wrong about this. Maybe I should look into the sciences more, because I don't know what your scientific background is. I mean, have you had physics or maths or any kind of scientific classes at all? To pilot?
What happened?
I'm asking you. I mean, do you have any background in science? Have you taken any physics courses at all?
What does that matter? That's
no, I'm just asking because I'm asking because if we all like have. Well, let me finish.
A person going to class and to have a doctrine to know if they were to take their eyeballs or go out of this realm to see a reflection. It don't take somebody to go to school.
You don't need a reflection to see something. That's not how photons work. That's not how the eye works.
The photons work how I'm explaining it. If you're within the realm, you're going to catch a reflection of the light
don't need a
particles
reflection
outside.
to
How-
see something.
how-
You don't need a reflection to see photons.
And
Yeah.
I would even ask, how do you even know that photons are a thing that exists?
Yeah, I mean, somebody
And
told you they exist,
that's
right?
my point.
So
Why
photons
are we
don't
having
exist?
this? Y'all
No,
got me-
no. You aren't answering the question. I'm asking you. You know the word photon, and you kind of know what it is. How did you gain that information?
And why do you accept it?
Look, y'all using photons because we got into this argument of
You
can we see
mentioned
stars?
photons.
You're deflecting it, but you're not answering a very
You're
simple
deflecting
question.
like a photon.
No, we're getting into a bunch of hypotheticals, and y'all want me to ask
Nobody's getting
questions.
into a hypothetical. You're just not answering a simple question.
Yeah,
No,
Pilot, hang on,
here,
Mr.
what
Pilot,
I'm
these are-
saying.
These are not
with
hypotheticals.
my
They're
stance.
asking you. Hang on, Pilot. These are not hypotheticals. They're asking you very clearly. You know the term photon. How did you know that term, and why do you think that they exist unless you believe what somebody told you?
And how did you know that how you learned through photons wasn't from an indoctrinated source? Because you're accepting that we've got photons and that, there's Pluto and that there's all this stuff. You're accepting that. That's
Who
not
brought
from
up
an...
photons? Y'all the ones saying that you can see the stars when you're in space.
We're not talking about
So
stars.
that's-
We're talking about
that's-
photons.
Okay, do you accept that photons exist?
Yeah, reel it back
So that
to Pilot. We're talking about photons. Do photons
Yeah,
exist?
Start bringing
Yes.
up all these scientific terms to support what y'all to support.
Pilot,
It's like
Pilot,
protein.
let's do this one step at a time. Do photons exist? You accept they do, correct?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Sweet
Okay.
Jesus.
All right, let's reel it back a little bit, guys. Let's reel it back. We're going to be going back to
right.
square one
So
here.
tell me why you think photons exist.
Well, that could be a
Why
little
do
bit
I think-
complicated. But what do you want to call light then? What do you think light's comprised of? Do you have a name for something you want to call them?
Argue my point. Y'all, if you want to bring in photons, tell me why y'all think photons exist.
Because they've actually seen
we
individual
can talk
photons and they can actually measure what a quantum wave packet is.
Don't bring up photons and ask me
We've
why I
actually
think
seen
they don't
individual
exist.
photons. We
Yeah.
know what a photon is.
What
I
happened?
mean, I've done exquisite measurements of photons, their speed. It's
The wavefront, the leading edge.
in fact, it's one of the most common things I did as an undergraduate and in college was to measure the speed of photons.
These are the reasons. These are the reasons why they're asking you if you have any background in science. It's not an attempt to. It's not an attempt to corner you. It's an attempt to see if you've had the opportunity to either learn or use the equipment that would allow you to measure these particles, allow you to see these things, or allow you to have secondhand information on that subject.
Or just
if you can't demonstrate that you haven't, it's not a knock against you. It's simply an attempt to find that information. And if you are saying that photons don't exist, while also saying you've never had the opportunity to see whether or not they do, it's an argument from ignorance and it's a fallacy.
Well, y'all brought the photon argument.
Well, it's
That's
not an
my
argument.
point.
Photons are not an argument. Photons are what light
Okay,
are
so what
comprised of. They're a particle. Okay, let's keep it simple.
Point.
But what do you
Tell me
want to
the
call? What
point
do you
me
think
to
light's
particle-
comprised of?
Well, photons exist or not, and then tell me, can you receive photons when you're in space?
Yes.
You can.
You can. We have people up in the International
Yes.
Space Station who can attest to this.
And I've helped send sensors up there, and we've detected them.
Yeah, it's not
with
even
exquisite
controversial. It's just it's
This,
just
this is
common.
why
We have a
And
massive
what's
amount
the
of
point?
evidence that
Why
Okay,
deny that
What's
photons
that was
in space
now you want
exist?
to get ready to build an argument like that's my stance. What I'm telling you is I'm asking questions like that because this is really a pointless conversation of arguing about photons.
Yeah,
find this
because
to be
when you
fascinating,
see
actually.
sunlight, you're seeing light from the sun
And then
go
saying they don't
through
exist.
space to arrive at your eye. What's the deal?
Yeah, what is
What is it?
arriving from when you look
Who
at the
said
sun?
they
What are
exist?
you seeing? What is that light that you're seeing if it's not photons?
Who said it wasn't?
You did.
You did. You said photons aren't real.
Are we in the same
What I'm
conversation
saying
here?
is I don't. What's your point of talking about photons? If that's y'all calculations on how you can perceive the sunlight, then we're basically still saying the same thing.
Oh, no,
If you-
what I was
we are.
asking was whether or not you accepted the truth of photons, and you said no. And the reason that I ask that is because I do not have a scientific background at all. But what I am able to do is I'm able to ask questions as to why do I accept these things? How do I find out if they're true? and I want to
Listen,
know why you think the way you do.
I don't go to any college to sit and learn about photons.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, we've kind of determined that to be the case. Yes.
We could have guessed that with or without your answer.
That's
If that's the case, so what kind of arguments are you building? Are you just building?
Well, no. What I'm trying to arrive at here is I'm wondering because you bring up indoctrination and the sources that you get things from, but earlier on, that's kind of why I asked you about intuition and finding the truth, because especially when you talk about things like science and photons and electromagnetism, using just pure intuition might not be the best way to discover these things.
I ain't bring none of that up. You brought all this up. You brought all that indoctrination up.
You brought up indoctrination. I just
You're the
heard
one who
you
brought
say
it up.
that.
None of us have used that term.
Yeah, I
sir.
haven't used the term
I'm curious about your whole outlook on
if I can
indoctrination.
remind,
Like I will say this. We'll say this. This might be really bad, and it might be a very low blow. But for somebody who only thinks light reflects, you seem to be doing nothing but reflecting.
Deflecting.
If I can remind everybody of what got me into this hangout was when he said that he doesn't trust any indoctrinated sources.
That's what I'm interested in too.
But I'm still trying to determine what determines an indoctrinated source from a non-indoctrinated source. I haven't made that differentiation yet. By the way, welcome Muppets. I know you've been trying to get in.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Muppets.
You presented nothing to reflect, and came up with something that y'all thought is reflected.
Absolutely. Let's move on. So,
not even
when
wrong.
it comes to
not even wrong. Let's move on.
So,
yeah.
How do you determine because you arrived at what you arrived at because it's your intuitive process. You looked at the world, light, stars, and all that, and you arrived at your conclusion so far. How do you know you're right? How do you find that out? How do you discover if what you've learned or what you've observed is correct? How do you know that your ending point is a good one? How do you test it?
How do you know your beliefs are valid?
How do you find out?
justify them is what he's asking.
Yeah.
To justify what?
Your beliefs.
What you think? Yeah.
Yeah, what you're thinking about.
Well, does he want examples?
Sure.
I think just how everybody else thinks.
No.
Well,
no,
okay.
no,
Let's give the example that actually got me. That I actually started watching the Hangout with. You said that thought was a frequency that has direct influence on reality. What have you done to actually measure, or what study have you seen where somebody has measured the frequency of thought external to the person having the thought?
And having an effect on reality.
Correct.
Well, have you ever made somebody do something?
Well, I've not been able to think $1 billion into existence.
Yeah, and
Well,
I've thought a lot of things and they don't come true. So.
Well, you're getting lost now, but you got the power.
Do you think this is where we all really want to be right now?
I don't know where the hell we're at now, Rags. I don't know.
Well,
I don't care
answer
where
the
we're
question.
at.
Rum and Coke goes where it goes.
Do you have the power of influence?
I have the power to influence certain things.
Yeah,
Right.
I can reach my hand out and move this glass.
Right? It came from your ability to think that you can do that, right?
But you said thought has direct influence on reality, which means that if you can think it, it becomes reality.
Well, hang on,
I'm thinking.
I'm going to stand for just a second. He could be talking about like a mind-body duality, where if you think, like, if I will my hands to move, my hands are moving. Therefore, it's a mind-body. The whole that goes to the mind-body question. You know, is it?
Well, again,
how
Steve,
it's
that's
conscious
not
related emotion.
external to the person thinking the thought.
Correct.
That is part of their body.
Name one thing that was done without thinking.
A tornado.
Well, that too.
The Big Bang.
Tornado was done without thinking first.
Yep.
Yeah, the Big Bang, the formation of
Tornadoes
the Earth was
occur
probably
on our
done without
planet.
thinking.
Yeah, there wasn't
Regardless
anybody
of
around
whether or
even
not
think
anyone
back
thinks
then.
about it.
I mean, natural occurrences, just in general.
Just any
Cosmic background
disaster.
Cosmic micro background radiation was probably done
Nobody
without.
thought
Or
the
anything
CMB
without a
existed.
brain, like your bacteria or viruses.
That's a bullshit.
Yeah, like
brain.
so an earthquake happens, any natural we'll keep it simple. We'll stick with the tornado. We'll keep it nice and simple. I live in Arkansas. I know about the shit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So we got a tornado. Are you saying that there is a thought that created it, or did it happen independent of thought?
So you equating this argument to the season?
No. You asked for a force that happened, or thing that happened without thought. So I thought a tornado.
Well, we can't prove if that was done without thought.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, so wait a minute. So you're saying we can't prove that a tornado was done without thought? Okay.
So
Well, you're making a claim here.
No, so wait, he's insinuating that a tornado is done with thought?
Yeah, I mean that's basically what he's saying.
Tornado
He's
God,
saying that's
Steve.
an option, rather. He's saying it's an option.
There's no proof of it being a thought or without.
Hang on, but to Pilot, do you know any mechanism by which thought can be translated into creating a tornado? Because if not, then you just
you have a reason to believe.
It's called bloating your ontology. In other words, that's a fancy way of saying you're coming up with a bunch of stuff that doesn't need to be in there because there's no reason to have it in there. There's nothing mechanistic between thought and creating a tornado. There's no way to get from A to B in there. So why bloat your ontology for that?
What ontology?
Well, what would lead you to believe that a thought is behind a tornado occurring?
Well, I don't necessarily sit down and go think if a thought created it or didn't create it.
I'll avoid the obvious joke, but
it's a hypothetical question.
Yeah, thank you for avoiding that joke. I was still wanting to say it.
Let's talk about it like scientists, and y'all like to talk about what we can prove.
No, I don't. I don't think science proves anything.
By the way, for the record, I've moved on to Grappa Amarone, so...
Hey, Landon, did you bring up
the second half of this already, so he's moved on.
Sniff that cork, Landon. Sniff. Oh, by the way, Steve, I have now apparently got a new power. I mentioned Edgar. Boom, he appeared in chat. Let's get Edgar.
Oh, no. I've already had this.
Let's divide by zero and end the universe.
David messaged
Red Eye,
me,
no.
Let's do it.
David messaged me and he said,
I want to watch the world burn, Steve.
It gets in Discord. I'm like, well, what the hell you want me to do about it? Have fun. And now I just read in the outside chat, literally somebody saying, let's get to Pilot and Edgar together. And I'm like, dude, you know what happens when you divide by zero? The universe goes to shit. I'm not going to be responsible for the destruction of the entire universe, guys.
It would be destruction of the universe at 300% probability.
I can actually listen to the Pilot. I can't listen to Edgar. I just can't. I mean, I
do have a question for
Someone in
Pilot.
chat just said, shut the fuck up, Red Eye.
Shut the fuck up, Red Light.
So, Pilot, can I ask you a question real quick?
Can you ask me two?
Well, two questions. But like, what's your foundation for believing that the Earth is flat? Is that your opinion that it's the default position?
No, he's a wave earther.
I'm not.
Oh, he's a wave earther. I'm sorry, my bad.
Ruffles have riches.
Okay, that doesn't change my question except exchange flat for wave.
Because of the fact that I'm even titled a flat earther. I don't know who even said I was a flat earther.
Okay, my bad.
Okay, let's clickbait. Sorry, I thought he was
you
a
have
flat
to forgive
earther.
him. He's a Muppet.
Sue me.
Yeah, I'm a Muppet.
He's a Muppet.
Yeah, he's a Muppet. Blame him.
Well, now you're getting into my specialty here.
Sean, you're looking a little blue there.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, so the Earth is wave shape. Is that what we determined from, or at least that's what he's?
I was being sarcastic to the point that people are lazy.
No, I don't want to let the tornado thing go.
Okay,
tornado
I'll let you continue on that.
All right.
We can get back to the tornado.
Yes.
Yay! Yay! He got his way.
Tornadoes.
I was curious what reason.
Be a Weather Channel person. Okay.
Well, no, it's not even about the weather. It doesn't have to be a tornado. It could be a tree falling in the middle of a forest with no one around to hear it.
Hurricane, could be lightning strike, could be anything.
It could be the waves crashing upon the beach. It could be any natural force.
Can we talk about that some more?
It does.
Right now. Yeah,
I'm in Arkansas. I'm far away from the waves crashing on beaches.
Arkansas doesn't know what oceans are.
We got different kind of beaches over here.
You're just the poor man's Kansas. Get it right.
I'll have you know, Arkansas is a lovely place, and we have excellent rice.
Depends where you go. I've been there.
Also, methamphetamine.
I have relatives that live there. There's places where it's literally like crack houses next door.
You mean the South in general?
I'm gonna make some soup.
Oh, did Edgar just pop it? Oh, Edgar.
Go, Landon.
Are you going to be microwaving it with waves?
Please no. I'm tired
Edgar.
of
What the hell's wrong with you people?
That was me. I have the power, Steve. I mentioned his name and he appeared in chat.
Thought controlled Edgar to come here. The pilot's right. Thought actually changed reality. Wow, that's cool.
Please don't do this.
Too late,
dude. He's in the live chat. I'm not bullshitting.
Wait, who's Edgar?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
No. That opens up too many doors.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to look down that rabbit hole.
Like Edgar from the
We've
Aristocats.
got another virgin.
No, Edgar from Mr. Intelligent Design. Mr.
I
Intelligent
literally
Design
just went through this for like 5 hours.
Let me give a brief overview.
Oh no.
Christian Anarchist, Mr. Intelligent Design is the only person that Ken Hovind thought was too crazy and actually split in the middle of a conversation.
Oh no!
Oh God!
About
What does that tell you?
dude.
And you think I'm kidding?
That
I ain't.
dude.
Oh shit!
I nearly broke my
No.
desk from me doing a face desk. I mean, I'm not kidding there.
When Ken Hovind
Like I've
runs from
literally
you, you
spent
know
like the
you're
past
in
3
trouble.
hours talking with Edgar and his crew, and I'm done with it.
Well, as long as I have popcorn, I wouldn't mind them being in the same room.
So Steve, I do have to say something. I think I've now understood why I only ever stay for like 30 minutes of a rum and coke night. As
Brain
somebody
damage?
who doesn't drink, we get to a certain point where my brain just goes, nope, nope, nope.
Usually I give a little
That sounds like
warning.
a problem with you and not drinking.
Yeah, there's definitely warnings that need to go out.
My
what's
drinking
weird
problem is that I'm not drinking.
We have 180 people watching this, and I, it's like I don't know where to go with it. It's like maybe we should get Mr. ID in here. Oh.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Well, I was
Red Eye, no.
Go for it. Go for it.
Stop, Red Eye.
behind Tornado.
Landon really likes talking to Edgar.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Bring him in.
Oh, fuck.
Burn it down. Let's burn the world.
Bring
to the
him in.
fucking
This is
ground.
like
Bring
voting
him
for
in,
Trump
guys.
all
My
over again.
spot's
You know
open
that,
now.
right?
Let's do this.
I would rather talk to True Empiricism.
Bring
Wow.
him too.
How dare you?
I'm just saying. I'm just
Rags,
saying.
have you talked
Or
to
Debbie.
Wait,
Debbie.
Oh, fuck, Debbie. Let's get Debbie
Debbie
in
or
here
True?
too.
I can call Debbie right now. Hold
Do
on.
it, Kyle.
Oh,
do it. I dare you.
Oh God!
I
What have I
double
done?
dare
Do
you.
it.
I so goddamn dare you.
Too late, guys. You've already mentioned it. She's coming.
Okay,
Unleash
guys, you can
hell.
blame this one on me. I'm sorry.
I was done with Debbie. I was so done with Debbie, but you know what? Let the world burn. Vote for Trump again. Do it.
Yes. Trump
God damn
2020.
you.
Let's do it.
The world is on fire.
You just
Don't
added
bring Trump
another
into
10
this.
feet to that wall, gentlemen.
You guys don't even know what the hell you're unleashing.
You got no idea. Oh, I'm
You guys
so
just
happy.
need to admit that in the Book of Job that he fought a dragon with a sword. Okay, and then you'll admit that Debbie's correct.
Oh,
Wait,
Edgar's,
what?
what? Edgar's saying no. Edgar. What?
Edgar,
Wait,
no,
don't
I am
you do
busy.
that,
I
Edgar.
cannot come
What
in.
was that?
Edgar doesn't want to come for the first time in history. Edgar's
Wow.
doesn't want to come in.
Well, that's because he spent 3 hours being yelled at.
Oh, I'm not going to do any yelling. I'm going to sit here and
No,
laugh.
no, no.
and
Before
listen
you
to people
showed up,
melt.
Red Eye, we were
Oh.
literally in that conversation for like 3 hours.
Clayton says, bring in Mr. ID,
Ah.
G-Man, Debbie, and Doelow, the four horsemen shall ride again. No offense to Pine.
Hey, I don't hear Lemon Bird in there.
If we're going to
I'm not
go
gonna
real
put
big,
Doelow-
let's
I'm not
get
gonna put Doelow
Nephilim
in the
free
same
as
category
well.
as G-Man.
Well,
I
I was
actually
just thinking
like
the
Doelow.
same thing. Where's Neffy?
Yeah,
If you brought Nephilim or G-Man, they both would probably be obsessed with me.
Oh God.
And the entire.
Just
All
admit
right.
you guys all love
Them boys got boners for me.
All right, Steve, I'm tired. I'm going to cut out.
All right, thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. Kyle has a boner for you.
But
He's
yeah.
flirting with you on the
Say it,
nonsense.
Sean.
Well, at least I'm consenting.
He's like, what are you, 28 now?
Remember, guys, 50
Oh, yeah,
no's and yes still means yes.
I'm 23.
Oh, you're just a baby.
That's okay.
Too young.
Old enough.
Old enough.
Kisses.
Gonna be 24 in about.
So I'm
what?
making
He'll make you. He'll
a
make you
really
a 30-year-old
nice-
man real fast. Are you leaving me, Landon?
Wait, hold on, Landon.
Yes,
Wait,
I
wait,
will.
So I'm making a really nice vegetable soup with the emphasis on tomato with a good dose of English mustard and Australian Vegemite.
Are you
The
Hell
question
yeah.
is, Landon, did you bring enough to share with the
Go
class?
From Nephilim free to the Food Network. That was
I
a
don't
pretty
know.
nice transition there.
Absolutely.
Well, Landon's got that nice voice. If he read a few audiobooks, I mean.
Nah, that's not Landon. That's Jerry Springer, according to someone in chat. They have no idea who the man actually is, and they're calling him Jerry Springer. It's like, hey, dude in chat calling him Jerry Springer. You should Google the name Landon Curt Noll and
Yeah,
read for about 2 minutes, and then come back and apologise.
Call him Landon.
Oh,
Can we all
You
agree
choose.
that Landon's hair?
You
Can we all
choose,
agree
dude.
that Landon's hair is sexy?
Yeah, they didn't hear me in the outside
Oh, yeah.
chat because I was muted, but I was saying earlier that when I was saying that Landon Curt Noll is literally like one of the smartest people on the planet, that is not hyperbole. That is straight up.
Yeah.
He actually is probably in the top, 10 to 20 smartest people in the entire world. And that's, dude's smart.
Seriously, 10% of the internet right now is encrypted because of that man
Yeah,
that
he
you're
worked on
calling
the
fucking
Hash
Jerry
Fowler's
Springer.
tag,
And he
yeah.
does it, and he did it with lava lamps, motherfucker. There
Yeah.
you go.
He
What
works
have
for
you
the
done
Christian
lately
and all
to
that
impress
crap.
me?
I mean,
Nothing.
that's why
Can you
Edgar
put
got
lava lamps
banned
in
earlier.
space?
Well, got kicked earlier.
Lava lamps work in space.
Can you see them in the vacuum of space? That's the big question.
Debbie has not been active for 2 hours. What the
Are you
hell,
for
Debbie?
2 hours?
What?
Has she been committed?
She's on Jim Panda's server.
Sometimes people sleep and.
No, she doesn't sleep.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, and she probably knew this was going on. I had planned this event in
1992,
several
actually,
days.
I believe she said. It's been since 1992 she has not slept.
Like, the fact that I was in a hangout with her for 10 hours speaks to the fact that she does not sleep.
10 hours? Wow.
Sweet Mother Teresa.
Don't judge me, okay? It was a bad time in my life.
How bad? That's the question.
Well, I mean, I literally had my own Bible, and we were discussing like the different texts in the Bible about it for 10 hours.
Talking about the Bible in bed.
Wait, what exactly would y'all been talking about besides flat Earth? Is that all it was? Flat Earth?
It had to do with flat Earth, but the simple fact is, like, she kept bringing up the Bible and specifically about Job, but she didn't know what the Book of Job was about.
Of course not.
God.
None of these people
I know
usually
what
do.
Job is. In fact, one of the best books
Like,
ever
when
written
I
is called
asked her what the Book of Job was about, she's like, "Oh, flat Earth."
Okay.
No.
Was Job's wife flat?
Comedy of Errors by Robert A. Heinlein. Book of Job. It was really good.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I love the Book of Job, and like, I'm just like, no,
Wait,
Debbie,
why?
stop.
You know what's so funny? Because
love the Book
Debbie's
of Job?
interesting because Debbie will say, well, I've studied flat Earth for the last 4 years. Okay, well, let's show you the geometry. Oh, I haven't really even looked at the geometry. Okay, well, let's show you the aerodynamics. Oh, we haven't really looked at the aerodynamics. Oh, let me show you geometry here, this and that. She knows nothing about anything, yet she's all studied flat
no,
Earth. And I'm
definitely
like,
not.
Well, how do you study something that doesn't exist?
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Ask theology.
You can study fantasy.
Well, that's what it takes to be a
I do
conspiracy
every night
theorist,
at 8
you know?
o'clock.
I'm your theologian if y'all need anything.
Speaking of
We've done
Cost you
enough with
$5.
you today, sir. We've
Cost
done
you
enough with
$5.
today, sir.
That was the weirdest
cost me
discussion
$5.
I've ever seen, by the way. I'm not going to front. That was interesting, but weird.
Yeah, when I saw that discussion, I was like, "Come on, guys."
I didn't know what to make of it.
Pilot man over there.
Mm-mm.
And what's really funny is that when it was brought up between the difference between flat and level, the day before that, me and Debbie had that exact discussion.
And she forgets it every day. It's
What
like
is-
every day she forgets.
Yes, me and Dave were in the same discussion with her, pulling up those same images, and she was dodging it the same exact way.
Well, that's
What's
why
the
some people
difference
think she's a
between
poet.
flat and level?
Because one of them has to deal with the actual position of it and dealing with the actual center of gravity.
Yeah,
But she
flat,
doesn't
flat is
understand
going to be
that.
relative to, like, for example, if you have a shelf, flat just means a shelf is actually flat. It doesn't mean bumps or up or down elevations on it. But level means that it's going to be parallel to the ground.
And since it's a round Earth,
There's nothing level on the round Earth. Nothing.
well,
can
no,
be
there
level
is.
on the round
There
Earth?
are things that are there are things that are level, but it's a round Earth.
You got to remember, there's
So
no such thing as a
it's-
straight line in the universe. All lines are curved.
Yeah.
All non.
Oh, that's where I was messing up.
But that
Yeah.
confuses people like flat earthers because they don't understand the difference between
Same
Euclidean
thing with
and
90-degree angles and stuff like that.
That would be orthogonal. That'd be perfect.
But I'm a probable flat space-time earther.
Yeah, local geometry is flat.
Yes,
Yeah.
but within experimental error. I mean,
Six-
I
six,
hold
uh,
up
Is
the
it
fact
is it
that
still
might
flat
be-
in space?
No.
though?
Six
Is the
sigma
line
is pretty
still
damn
flat
good.
above the atmosphere?
Don't
Wait,
get
hold
me
on. We
started
better
on it.
shame Landon, and we got to mention that Landon was actually a flat earther at one stage, weren't you, Landon? Admit your guilt.
Yeah, so when
You
I
were a
was
flat
less
earth.
than 20 months old, I had a flat Earth perception.
Admit your sins before us.
Did you pay penance?
Yes.
I was a
it was
flat
basically becoming an astronomer was my penance for flat Earthness.
Well, give us 10 Hail Marys and then donate a tenth of your wealth.
Specifically 50 shekels.
Yeah, exactly.
to the Church of Pilotman.
So how much would 50 shekels be worth in
No,
today's day and age?
send the shekels to my PayPal.
Well, that depends on the purity of said shekels.
Are they indoctrinated shekels?
Don't worry, Rags will purify them.
Where have we gone?
Clean
Where
him
have
right
we
up.
gone, guys? Where have we gone with this?
Debbie, we need
Rum and
Debbie.
Coke night.
Well, since we lost
I went into
Edgar,
a whole bunch of indoctrinations. That's what y'all went into this.
Yes, that's what we were talking about. We were
Yeah.
talking about how you determine what is and isn't indoctrinated.
That is
Everything
curious thought.
Everything y'all was just talking about. It was second hand-me-down knowledge.
Well,
would be
y'all got
primary-
pilot. I'm
what would be
curious.
primary
Like,
knowledge,
what would be
though?
the point of
Book of
this?
Job. Y'all got lost in the book of Job. Y'all started having jokes about it and all that, and to the point that hey, it was all fun and games.
Look,
Job
how do
was
you get your
I want to have a
knowledge?
beer with you one night. I want to have a beer with you one night, Pilot Man.
Oh, this all
Well,
going
but
on.
yeah, having fun is part of life.
Have superior knowledge to anybody. I'm looking at the same thing everybody else saying.
Hey, Pilot Man,
So,
did you,
Pilot,
But
hey,
having
Pilot Man,
fun
did you-
is actually one of the amazing things you can do as experience. In fact, it was one of the final suggestions of my dying mother was have fun. So hey,
Hey, Pilot Man, did you bring like your entire clan with you, dude? Because you have like a lot of fans in the live chat right there. It's like 200 people watching. I think half of them are like from your channel.
No, I don't got no fans.
You got no.
You have
dude,
25,000
you got fans.
subs.
I shit you not.
That's my
Yes, you
soul.
do, man.
That's my
You
soul
got-
group.
Oh, well, how bad.
Oh.
Wrong lady.
All right,
Soul group.
So I have a question. How do you ensure that your soul group does not get indoctrinated by listening to you?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're not indoctrinated. That's how they even found me in
Well,
the
How? You're telling them stuff though.
Yeah, I want to know how. I mean, I'm curious because they might be indoctrinated by you.
The only way someone can find my channel is if they're on a path of trying to get unindoctrinated.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I
Wait,
found your channel.
Pilot,
love
buddy.
this man.
Pilot, I have
I
a
love
quick
this man.
question. I have a quick question.
awesome.
What do you think indoctrinated means?
This is what I mean by that.
Okay.
When you on the internet, if you searching into a lot of stuff, like say if a person who was heavily into religion, and then now you got all these videos on the internet now to different people speaking about how religion may have been bad. So for a person to even find those videos, they must been in their personal life on a path of trying to not be
Or
indoctrinated.
they just
How does
want
that
to
answer your
entertainment.
question?
I mean, I
So
go to
that-
I
that's
watch your
what
videos
relief-
because I they're kind of entertaining. People watch my videos.
Well, that's
because
because you're on the path of unindoctrination.
I would never
Steve.
think that. Well, hang on. I don't think I'm I don't think I'm indoctrinating anybody when somebody watches one of my videos. I'm sure the hell don't think they're like coming to me for spiritual guidance. Okay, maybe I have a few
what
of
I'm
them.
saying is, if you found my videos, you must have been in some space of your life of either trying to get unindoctrinated from something, or
I
you
don't
got a
think so.
broad mind. A person who heavily
That doesn't
religious,
make any sense, Pilot.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's the case.
look, you got to listen.
This popped up in my recommendation feed.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
about to say,
knowledge.
that doesn't make any
trying to get you
sense.
unindoctrinated.
Yeah, which
I was
isn't like
told
them
you
at
were
all,
on this
honestly.
show, so I went to your feed and watched your stuff. That's how I found
If a
you.
person, this is my point. If a person is heavily indoctrinated into religion, then they're not even going to waste their time finding videos that even got my kind of titles to it.
Wait a
You see what I'm
minute.
saying?
Well, that's
Pilot,
not true at all.
Pilot, are you religious?
No.
You're not.
Oh,
okay,
I
so
thought you were an
are you
angel.
agnostic or atheistic?
Yeah, wait a minute.
thought
How
he
could
was
you
an
be
angel.
how could you be an angel and not religious?
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get down to the very bare bones of what he believes.
Which angel are you again?
Uriel.
You get that. That's getting into
Uriel.
lost.
Wait, what the fuck?
They just don't get it, Pilot Man.
All right, all right.
Don't
So
get it.
wait.
Wait,
You came in late, Stuart. You came in
Full
late.
stop.
Catch
Pilot.
up,
Full
catch up.
stop.
So Pilot Man, you believe in the supernatural, correct?
He's the angel Uriel.
He is
Right.
personally, or
Yes.
like metaphorically, we
No,
are.
This is Mike Flatberg
Literally
all over
the
again.
angel Uriel.
I to the
Incarnate.
terms and conditions.
Wow.
Got it. So you can't paint the way you was indoctrinated of it on me. I might see it in a whole different way than you trying to express it. So the whole point of asking the question is, how can you be religious but you call yourself Archangel Uriel? The name matters none to me. Just the frequency vibration of it.
Pilot,
the energy of
Pilot.
it.
Frequency vibration.
How do you identify
I
the
need another drink.
frequency
Good luck with
vibration?
this. Be
I
back
want to
in
ask
a
him a really serious question here. Pilot,
Alright.
how do you know that you're not delusional?
How do you know that you're not delusional?
That's not
That's
a
not,
answer. to my
that's
question.
not an answer.
But
Deflection.
the same method applies. How do you
No,
know
it
whatever you-
doesn't.
No,
Because
listen, Pilot Man, you saying that, well, you could be wrong too, isn't an answer to his
which gets to the
question.
crux of the whole thing,
I'm
right,
not,
guys?
I'm not telling you Maz is some over authority right way. That's the whole point. So
No,
Well,
What?
earlier on, you were saying that we couldn't see light in space. And the reason that we know that we're right is because we have all of these sources that we can corroborate with and we can examine and take a look at. That's how we
right.
know. That's how we arrive at our conclusion, because we can talk to other people and we have correspondence with people, and we can connect with other people and find out. We can put all of this evidence towards that conclusion. So we're asking you, how do you ensure that you yourself are not delusional? How
and
do
I
you
don't
check
mean that
it?
in a negative way, by the way. I'm curious.
Yeah, we're trying to find out why you think the way you do.
It's a point. Delusional towards what?
The
reality.
Reality, yeah.
Reality, guys. Like it's just simply reality.
What is delusional that I said about reality?
No, it doesn't matter what you actually said. We're talking about how you arrived at whatever you said.
How you perceive reality.
Yes.
It's not so much what you believe as it is how did you arrive at what you believe.
I explained to y'all how I seen frequency and vibration. I explained to y'all how.
No, actually, I want to let's do it there. How do you examine frequency and vibration?
Yes.
How do you examine that? How do you experience it? Is it a tingle?
Do you visually
What
see
the hell
it?
did I walk back into? Who's getting tingly?
We all experience frequency. It's not something that
not in
I'm
this hangout.
only experiencing and I'm telling somebody else to experience it. It's something we all experiencing.
But I don't experience that.
Well, maybe we're so used to it we don't feel it, or something. How do you isolate it? How do you say that's the frequency and vibration? That right there, that feeling.
Yeah.
How do you point to it and identify it?
Somebody on a deathbed and die, and you seen a flat line?
That's the heartbeat.
That's a frequency.
Wait, that's not even a heartbeat.
No,
When he's
frequency
talking
is how
about
many times a
flatline,
heartbeat per second.
he's talking
That's a
about like a specific computer output.
Yeah.
All right, so
that's how we calculate the frequency.
how do you know the
It's not
machine isn't indoctrinated?
It's not vibrating anymore once the person died. You see that in front of you the same way I see that. So us getting into an argument on the names of it is beside the fact.
So how come you'll trust a heart monitor but you won't trust a satellite?
It's a representation of a frequency. When you talk about a
And a
satellite,
satellite is a representation of the light that's hitting the lens that we get a picture from.
and what did I say when we first got into this argument in the first place? You must be talking about a satellite or something that we have made, because you're not talking about being in a spaceship yourself taking pictures.
I don't even have to go that far.
But why would it matter?
I
if
don't
we're
even
up
have
there
to
by ourselves. I don't get that. Look at the pilot. If you were up in space on your own, you still probably wouldn't believe anything that we're telling you.
Okay, my point is now we finna get into an area where neither one of us can really prove.
Okay, let's back up and say, well, let me ask you this and get back to something a little more basic before that goes into a tangent. Is there a way for you to know something without directly observing it yourself?
There's attributes in the world that we can do something like that too. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, is there anything that you're certain of or that you believe? Is there anything that you believe that you haven't seen with your own eyes?
No.
Okay, so have you ever been to China?
Wait, are you sure about that?
Wait a minute, what?
Do you believe that you were born?
Have you ever been to China, Pilot?
Do you believe that your mom
Have you
and
ever
dad were
traveled
born?
to the country of China? Do you believe in the existence of the state of China?
I think you asked.
Okay, I seen representations of China.
All right.
Isn't
So if you will believe the representations of China through video evidence, photographic evidence, or people who have been in China, how is that different from the evidence of light being observable in space?
Because you're only observing the representation of China. You haven't actually seen China itself.
And we using satellites to take these.
Here comes Landon. He's like,
I
I'll
think he's
abandon my
been indoctrinated in the existence of China. Although, by the way, I've been in China.
I know you've been.
Yeah, but you're part of the Communist Party.
Yeah, you don't count.
Just let us know if we mention a place and you haven't been there. It'll probably save you time.
He literally called me from the South Pole, and I'm talking. He was standing
me
on
and Landon
the
have
South
talked about
Pole, and he called me on a Iridium sat phone. Yeah.
Yeah, me and Landon have talked like about all this shit because
cool
me
is
and Landon
that?
also talked about the city council for like an hour.
It's cool. It's freezing.
I never thought I was going to get a
Crazy
phone
white
call from
people
somebody
go
on
to
the
the
South
South
freaking
Pole.
Pole.
All right.
I know that's insane, right?
Yep, I got one too. Hi, guy with a sample of the South Pole in his fucking freezer. Hi.
I don't. Hey, Pixar, it didn't happen, Red.
Let's take it to a lab and get it sampled and get it confirmed. Too fucking easy. More than happy to supply some. Let's do it.
I think though, if the pilot man used his own criteria against his own epistemology, as he does against everybody else's, it would fail.
Well, I don't know if he answered.
Well, I'm more curious from my perspective, trying to figure out the basis for all this, for his belief.
Well, one at a time, I suppose. I don't know if Pilot Man ever gave his answer for the China thing's true, but the space shuttle stuff isn't.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting because it's kind of a contradiction on his own way of looking at things.
How do you trust
China exist?
Well, how do you trust China?
How do you know you're
Y'all
not
making up
indoctrinated?
arguments and stuff. You basically saying what I said. You took a satellite or some type of camera that mimics something to take these pictures.
All right,
The same
so
way
you can do the same with the pictures of China. Yes. How is one good and one not good?
Okay, you arguing with me like I'm saying that the pictures is fake. I'm not saying that the satellites is taking is fake. What I'm saying is that's what's used to take the picture. That ain't got nothing to do with somebody actually being in space and taking pictures of the stars themselves.
Wait. Are you saying that pictures from space are not evidence of that thing in space?
How are they taking
They're
from
evidence
space if they're not in space?
I'm
That
saying
doesn't
the
make any
reason
sense.
why the satellites can pick it up because it's still in one of the spheres that it still can get the light. And since the higher is up, it's less.
How is it staying up there?
The higher is up.
Okay,
Look, the higher it is, the less influence it got to see the actual from its sphere. But it's still in a.
You know,
So
I'm
the-
not trying to be like
The
attacking
light-
his own personal being here, but like,
No.
how far have
the
you actually
lower
gone in your
part-
education?
Dude, get your hands
more
off his
blurry
frequency and
influence.
vibrations.
I ain't trying to hear none of that rhetoric. I ain't trying to hear none of that rhetoric. The lower you
What
are to
rhetoric?
the
It's not rhetoric. I'm curious because they asked you the same question earlier.
The lower you is to the ground, if you ain't got no satellite or anything, the more blurry it might see. If we got a satellite that can kind of go higher than us being on the ground, then it has less things to filter through, but it's still going through a filter. So the light it received may be a little bit more crispier, a little bit more sharper.
Again,
I don't even
we
know
may
where
add
to
a
go with
little
that.
bit.
My question still stands. Have you done anything outside of high school?
We might add infrared to it, but at the same time, it's still being observed
I don't
from a
believe so.
sphere.
Pilot.
Well, since we're talking about the atmospheric thing, do you believe that it is possible to leave Earth's atmosphere?
Listen, I don't want to get into y'all argument. That's
not
y'all.
argument. I'm asking you.
Jesus.
I'm asking you. Just, do you think that we can put something, or you can go past the atmosphere?
Listen, I'm an astrologer, and I teach things that ain't got nothing to do with y'all scientific hypothetical
These are not
procedures.
hypothetical.
Wait,
Isn't
you're an
that weird?
astrologer?
Hang on.
Okay. Wait.
DePilot, you keep using that word, but that word doesn't mean what I think you think it means.
Yeah.
You haven't used
where's
the
that
word
mean? I need to get
hypothetical
it.
right at all
Wait,
tonight,
wait.
I don't
think.
answer none of y'all indoctrination.
Pilot, you're an astrologer, okay? Right?
Let's get it.
Have you mapped the stars?
Yes.
Like the placement of stars, okay? Do you know what a horoscope is?
Yes.
Okay. Well, explain the horoscope real quick.
So before I start explaining this, are you coming from a position that you know of the horoscope?
Yes.
Because I don't want to be talking out my ass because I might know a little more than you know.
Okay, that doesn't matter. I still
This is
ask
our
what your
this
knowledge
is our chance
so this
to
is
learn
your-
more
this is your
about the
realm.
horoscope.
Yeah, this is
So,
your
you want to
area,
talk
man.
about the
So bring it.
horoscope and the stars. That
And the reason I'm
actually has-
asking this is because we actually have tracked this over the past 1,000 years. So I'm curious.
The movement of stars have
Right.
changed over the last couple thousand
I
of years.
get
Exactly. That's the whole point of this conversation. Like, because I don't know if he knows that.
I don't know. And
Well,
also,
I
we
could track it
found
in
more planets
2008
too.
and start off where they left off. I don't think
Like,
you
I'm
noticed
curious
that.
because, like, what
In
do
a
you
single
do you
day?
Wait, what? What did he say?
I
Pilot
can
man?
I can go outside at April 20th, 2018 and map the stars and go where they left off at. And we're still in the same situation.
Well,
Left off at.
over the period of a day, they're not going to be too
Oh, I got it. Oh, yeah. They're not going to change over a period of sequential nights. They think the
Well, I
Bernard
guess
Star. Wait, hang on.
the
Bernard
question
Star
I'm
we've
trying to
mapped
ask
over the last.
here.
Hang on.
Sorry, go ahead.
Bernard Star we have mapped over the last
based
50
upon what
years,
y'all
and
telling me,
Bernard
y'all
Star
don't
we can
know about
actually.
horoscopic astrology.
The pilot,
because
listen to
horoscopic
me.
don't even have
The pilot. These stars do not move that much. One of the ones we have tracked is called Bernard Star. We have 50 years of intense data from this star to check at the actual proper motion of this star. You can actually see it traveling in a helical pattern as it moves in a proper motion relative to us, and it moves. It literally.
But Steve,
moves.
can you see it from Earth? Can you see it from Earth?
Yes, you can see it.
And
from
both
Earth.
All right, I'm just making
Hipparchus
sure.
satellite
It's
and
gotta be from
Gaia
Earth.
have given us,
Well, the only thing I was going to bring up
motions on actually up
Y'all
to a billion
lost.
stars.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but the
By the
only
way,
thing
a lot
I
of
was
new
trying to
names
bring
in the
up
live chat.
was
I like to
horse-
welcome them all. I don't know who some of these people are. That's unusual. Usually I know everybody.
Hi, it's
welcome.
like this
Hi.
every night. Come back
No,
tomorrow.
it's not. No, it's nothing like this every night. These are one-offs.
Pilot,
You
the
know-
only thing I was trying to ask is, like, do you understand like the origin of the horoscopes, right?
Well, you just proved to me that you don't because you
I didn't say anything.
No, he didn't say
I didn't
anything
say
about
anything.
the horoscope.
He didn't mention anything about
I
him.
haven't gotten a
All
chance
he
to
did
say
was
anything about
mention
it.
them.
Well, let me
Just answer his question, Doe.
Well, let me explain it.
Okay.
When we talk about the horoscope by itself, that has nothing to do with the actual star.
Yes,
it's
it
about
does.
It's about the space and the travel, the space and the location that these stars are traveling through. So when we talk about the equinoxes and things of that nature, that's where spring will start. That don't have anything to do with the actual Aries
That's not what I'm
constellation.
talking about. I'm talking about the fact is, okay, I was born on November 30th. Okay? That makes me a Sagittarius. Do you know I'm not technically a Sagittarius anymore?
See, you don't know anything about horoscopic
Yes, I
astrology.
do.
Okay. Let's put it this way, Pilot Man. Let's put it this way. So
You talking about the stars. You talking about fixed stars
That's
or
what
Vedic
horoscopes
or
have to deal with.
Mean the type.
Oh, horoscopes have to deal with the equinoxes and the
horoscopes deal with the planetary alignments to the fixed stars in different what's called houses. So
By the way, I don't
when you
talk
have a
about things I don't know
horoscope
about. In this specific case, I do.
The houses come from the sun rising into the east and its travels going
Are you
through the
serious
space
right now?
No, the houses
going
come
through
from
the
the celestial
Pilot Man,
equation.
the definition
celestial
of
sphere.
horoscope has stars in the definition.
Do you know what the
You don't even know
celestial sphere is?
astrology. If you had any argument to say what I just said, you don't know anything about astrology. How you think you get a rising sign? When your sun is
Are you serious right now? I don't like. People have talked to me before. There are certain things I do talk about that I do know, and this is one
you
of
don't
them.
know anything about astrology. If you've
Yes,
had
I
any
do.
disagreement,
No,
with
I
what
know
said.
about horoscopes, and apparently you don't.
Horoscopic astrology has nothing to do with the fixed stars. Where did you
Yes,
get
it
that
does.
from?
It actually does. It's the relationship of the planets in position to the
Sorry, I don't
fixed
mean to be
stars.
talking over people. I'm sorry.
Listen, the Aries star constellation is not even in the same spot anymore. We base
That's the
spring
point.
on the equinoxes. So that's horoscopic.
Oh,
it's
God.
locally. That's somebody's
Okay. All right. So okay.
Now, if you want to go to
So, with that being said, let's run with that. Okay, let's take that and go to third base with it, right? So, how do you know? How do you know that all of the information that you have about horoscopes and astrology is not indoctrinated?
the form you talking about is getting indoctrinated.
No.
I'm asking about you.
Yeah,
the
come on,
sources
come on,
that
Violet.
you use and the
Yeah,
information that
exactly.
you use.
This is a
How
good
do you
question.
determine it is not indoctrinated?
How do we know that
How
you're
do
not
you know?
indoctrinated by the
The only
astrology?
reason you said that you're not really a Sagittarius is because
You're
dodging the
changing the
question.
You're dodging it.
Okay,
By the way, you're
forget
talking about me,
Sagittarius. Forget Sagittarius. He's faggot anyway.
Aw.
Let's go back to the indoctrinated stuff, right? This is what I would like to know. I'd like an answer on that. So, for you, Pilot Man, let's say I can run with the idea that you know a lot about astrology and horoscopes. It's clearly very important to you. All right? I'll go with that. You bet. But how do you know? How do you determine that all of the sources and information that you have based on all of that stuff is not indoctrinated? How do you know that it is pure?
because I learned the way that whatever you indoctrinated with learned. That's why.
That makes no
Okay,
sense.
so
that was
that didn't
not
help at
even
all.
wrong. That
All
was
right, I'm
just
gonna break it
not
down.
even
I'm gonna break it down if it don't make sense. So
No,
let's
no,
take it-
I don't know anything. That's the thing. I ask partly because I don't know anything about horoscopes or astrology other than pretty much just what the Google definition is.
I'm gonna teach you how to learn something on your own. I'm about to show you how to learn something on
Wait,
your own.
You're gonna
wait a
teach
minute. Wait a
him
minute.
how to learn
Pilot,
on his
pilot,
own. That's
pilot, pilot,
All right.
buddy. So you learned on the back of other people, correct? Like all the
No,
stuff that you know.
no.
Are
he
you
learned
actually
astrology-
telling
I
me
think he
that
learned
all the stuff
astrology
that
all
you
on his
know?
own. He has his own version of astrology.
So, Pilot Man, am I to assume that you have created your own definition for these words?
Y'all trust learned it. I learned the same way that the
We're
people y'all
talking to
trust.
freaking what's his name?
Okay,
we're talking
so
to
if
Edgar.
Hey,
you-
Rags, has he used any word the way we use it? No. So I think he's used.
No,
his own-
well,
he has
so
his own
well,
lexicon
Pilot
of
Man,
words.
Pilot Man, you just said that you learned the same way other people did. How do you know that the way they learned it didn't indoctrinate them and you've fallen into the same trap?
Could be.
Could be.
You Do you want me to break it down, or you want me to argue one of your hypotheticals?
It's a simple
I would like an answer to the question.
I'm going to break it down how I do it, and this
Go
is
for
any.
it. Go
really,
for it.
And just because I'm born around this time and y'all talking to me now, I guarantee this was the way that they did it back then. Now, just by me saying,
wait, who's they?
They had Google Hangouts back when.
Y'all you before I get to the point. Y'all arguing about what I'm saying like because it's unbelievable.
I want to know who you mean by they.
Yeah, they. Who's they?
Who's they?
The people that y'all get y'all astrology from, and y'all learned about
who's they?
Y'all learned about Plato's and all that.
Who's they?
I don't get it from Plato.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay,
What does
I don't know
astrology
what
have to do
Plato
with
said about astrology. All I did was I just Googled it.
I'm so confused.
So you
here.
don't know who Plato is? You don't know who Plato is?
I know
Yes, we know who Plato is. I just don't
I
understand
just
Plato
don't
is.
know what his position on
Can I be an
astrology
angel
was.
By the way, I'm a historian, guys, and this pisses me off. I'm sorry.
What?
It's
I've got, can I ask a question? I've got a really simple question for you. So
Listen,
hold on, I've just got one. I've got a question for you, dude.
We coming to these planets? Do you want to know how we derive to that?
No, hold on. I'm just going to ask him one simple question.
Do you want to know how you can outside the earth for yourself?
Okay, but everything that we know is based off of the people who came before us, and we build upon that.
I'll explain to you how it ain't. You won't
Red Eye,
let me
what is your question, Red Eye?
Go ahead, Red Eye.
So, listen, when I go to school, I went to primary school, grades 1 to 7. I went to high school. I didn't go to university. Do you consider that? Do you consider that's to you what we call education? He calls indoctrination.
No,
I'm done.
What I'm saying is, it's all good.
Yes, you are. You are. That's exactly what you're
So,
fucking
so
saying,
let me
dude.
ask my question. So, Pilot,
Absolutely.
how much indoctrination did you have, like school-wise,
Listen,
before you changed your course?
Once you ask the real question, once you ask me, how did I come to the conclusion? The same way they came to the conclusion.
Are you telling me that you've never?
We can go back to that if you want.
The Pilot, are you telling me that you've never had any indoctrination in your life? You were pure from day one. Where did your indoctrination stop? At what grade did you say, I am no longer being indoctrinated, I'm going my own path?
Basically become self-aware.
You're getting too lost into the word indoctrination.
Why can't he?
No, we're not.
The Pilot, I like you.
It's
gotta
important.
answer simple
I think it's
questions.
very important.
These are not difficult
Just
questions.
a form of not being over preachy about something you have learned.
I don't know why you can't
So
answer
if
a
you
simple
learned
question.
If you learned something from a book or some science
when
class,
did you stop reading
and
books?
you were going along.
When did
What
you
happened?
stop getting indoctrinated and stop reading books? Is what I want to know.
No, see, you stretching the line. Look, if you know life, then whatever you're reading, you know how to not get indoctrinated into. You know how it's useful.
By your own
and you know
definition,
how,
the only people who are not indoctrination is people prehistory.
Oh, okay. So I think I know what you mean. So, Pilot Man, you think that we have like this innate ability to resist indoctrination inside us?
What I'm saying is just common sense.
Well,
No,
it isn't
no.
because we're asking you. Common sense should be. Well, if we're asking questions about it, probably
if you
not really.
Let me explain how
All right.
whoever came up with astrology might have did it when they wasn't indoctrinated. I could get into that, but we're
Okay,
getting lost.
go for it.
Okay, this is how now before people had clocks or anything of that nature, they looked at the sun travel. Now, based upon when the sun rise, there were certain characters. They used to pay very close attention to the animals and things of that nature. There were certain characteristics that played onto the earth, and it made people feel a certain vibration in that time period that the sun was going through that. Now,
So
wait,
hold up. Let's take one thing at a time. So these would be things like it's bright, it's warm, animals come out certain animals come out during the day, things like that.
Right. So
that's all part of this vibration.
Then by them being human, they took it a step further. They was like, okay, this is consciously doing something to us. Because since the sun brings light, it's making us perceive a certain way. So they started adding other stuff to it. But for the most part, when the sun go into another space, different things was going on at that time. All the way until you get to the night. Look, all the way until you get to the nighttime. And then you got bats and owls coming out. Now they calculated each of these spaces, each of these travels. Now the indoctrination come from
Wait, do you mean wait, hold up. When you say they track the way that they move, you mean like the sun and the moon and the stars?
Right.
Okay.
So at nighttime, they perceive the moon because they could see more of the sky without the sun.
All right.
So then they start. So then they started to calculate, and that's where you get a bunch of Eastern philosophy from moon science and things of that nature.
Oh my God.
Like lunar calendars and things of that nature.
Moon science.
Yeah. So that's what you thought, and you said you're not really a Sagittarius. Because the Sagittarius constellation is now in the space that Scorpio once was.
Well, may
So
I
you
ask
say-
you? May I ask you, going back just a little bit, when you say moon science, what do you mean by that?
It's just another. It's like Eastern way of calculating astrology. They like to base it on the moon time, the moon cycle.
So, like their
That's
calendar.
So
Yes,
see,
you do
those are
have
lost-
different types of calendars based off the
Wait,
moon and the sun, but
That's true.
These are just
I
words
can
to
I
describe
agree
it,
with
but
that.
it's just them. It's just them calculating the moon travel when the moon is out.
So,
basically.
do you, so Pilot, do you disagree with Eratosthenes?
What did they speak of?
I'm not they, it's the person.
Well, no. Pilot was right not to assume their pronoun.
I don't care about Pacific.
Eratosthenes.
What did he speak of? And I'll let you know if I agree with
He
it.
measured the actual distance
Greek
between the Earth
that
and the sun.
measured when the first to measure the circumference of the Earth, or at least a measure that it was. That
He
was-
measured a few things, but that was one of them. Yeah.
Eratosthenes.
So do I?
He
You
used
saying
the
do I?
sun to measure the size of the Earth, basically.
Yeah.
By using sticks.
What I
in the
disagree.
ground.
Why do you disagree with it?
I said, why would I disagree with it?
I don't know.
Because you believe in a
Because
wavy
you-
Earth.
Yeah, you believe photons don't exist. Why would yeah?
What is you talking about?
Well, we're just trying
for the
to
love of
establish.
God.
We want to kind of try and establish how you think one of you believe that Eratosthenes, I'm bad with names, was
No, you're
able
fine.
to
I'm pronouncing it
determine
wrong.
the size of the Earth using the sun, but
I
you
was-
won't accept the existence of
how we
photons.
determine. I was just breaking down how did we come to the conclusion of what do these planets' influence on the Earth is. That's
There
what
he
I was.
is. He's right
Okay.
there. He has a name.
So, all right. So for instance, when you said moon science, does this mean something that is like what you did? Like, what kind of a science do you use exclusively
know about
using
the
the
moon?
moon?
Do you know about the moon cycle?
Assume I don't. Let's. What is the moon cycle? Like the phases of the moon?
Sense. If you don't know about the moon, you talk about. Let's say I don't. But you see the moon cycle every day.
Whoa,
So what is-
hold on. You mean like the phases of the moon, waning, waxing, all that?
Right. We had to calculate that to know that, right?
It's not calculating. We can see it day to day.
It's a direct observation that we can see.
So
Exactly. We don't have to calculate that.
You want to argue the fact that I use the terms moon science?
No,
That's what you're
I
talking-
was just
We didn't
asking for
argue that.
I was just asking for clarification what you meant by moon science. That's just all I was
Yeah,
asking.
we could.
Yeah,
we-
see, this
we
is what
can
I'm
plan-
talking
we can
about.
plan well in
Trying to
advance with the
work
moon's.
and indoctrination. You're trying to use words and just use your common sense. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
I don't use common sense to find truth about the world because my intuition could be flawed.
Oh, you
But-
getting
You
lost.
could be indoctrinated.
So now,
Okay,
now
well,
you ain't. now you
let's
ain't
take
really
it
saying what
back
you
a
really
step.
saying.
I wasn't disagreeing with you. I just wanted clarification on what you meant.
I don't even want to talk to somebody who think what they seeing in front of them ain't reality in some type of way.
That's
You
not what I
getting
said.
lost.
No,
Don't
don't take it that far. If I see you standing in front of me, I'll believe that you're actually there in front of me.
Why
Assuming
get lost?
nothing else.
So let's not get lost at all. Let's stay in reality.
Okay, so that's why when I look with my eyes at a photograph of stars taken from a space station, I'll believe it, right?
I tell you, I see the same thing.
You've told me
I
a
see
lot
the
today.
same-
Let me ask.
Sorry, go ahead.
Let me try to ask Pilot something real quick.
Red. Stop.
All right, go ahead, CA.
So you mentioned something about just using common sense.
Right.
Okay, so how do we determine if it's common sense? Because I mean, you say one thing in a conversation about this topic, but I'm pretty sure in various other topics, people are going to say common sense about something that I'm sure plenty of us on different topics would disagree with.
Well, I mean, for
Um,
instance, historically speaking, most people thought that flies appeared from meat. It just happened.
Common sense
Yeah.
and spontaneous generation, right? Common sense.
Nice theory.
That was a
Until-
thing for like a long time.
Didn't have flies
Until
before. It has
later on.
flies now.
Or-
Must be spontaneous generation.
Yeah, we
Common
can
sense.
take it. We can take it further and say, how do you even build things like satellites? How do you measure redshift using only common sense and intuition? When these are extremely, I like people talk about this stuff to me, and it's like mind-boggling.
Yeah.
There's
No, I
nothing
don't-
common sense about some things. So
What else is a scientist using but their common sense to come to their conclusion?
well, no, it's not just that individual's level of common sense, right?
Also,
You
I
can't
would like
just give people a bunch of you can't just give people hunks of metal and say, okay, I want you to build this watch only. I want you to build me a pocket watch only using common
You
sense.
need an
Go.
education to do
What,
that.
what did you look? It makes sense.
Well, also, I would like to point out that
No,
common sense is
it
relative.
makes sense to us now
Know how
that
to-
we know how it's done.
Yeah.
Once
You
you
don't know
learn
how it
how to
works.
do it, it seems like it's
To
common
learn.
sense. But for the
If you don't
first
know how
person,
it works, it makes sense to learn how it works. That's common sense. Wherever
That's not
you
what
try to
common sense is.
okay, that's not
wherever
common.
you try
That's
to-
not really.
common sense,
Okay,
you
well,
trying to-
when you say common sense, that's not really what most people would consider common
Well,
sense.
So yeah,
trying to
you're
play
using
the-
words that pretty much you're
Let me point out-
redefining them.
point
So
out-
like we're speaking
but let me
different
point out-
languages.
And this,
Y'all
but
put
this,
it in
hang on one
places it's
second.
not.
To pilot, this is
If
what
you-
I mean. This is what. Hang on.
you
This
know
is,
how-
Steve, you're roboting a bit.
oh, I might one sec.
If you use your common sense, you know if you don't know something, it makes sense.
Okay, I'm back.
That the Earth is flat, but neither you nor myself believe that, even though for a lot of people that is absolutely common sense.
But I think one of
right?
the
But it's
problems
not correct. But it makes sense to them to believe it.
Rags, I think
so.
one of the problems we
You
run
can't
into.
just
Hang on. I think the problem we're running into is that all of us use certain words as a social compact. When we say something, we generally know what we mean. We know that the other person is understanding to us, but there's an intelligibility there. When the pilot uses words, he has his own lexicon, which makes it very difficult to have an actual dialogue. And I'm not faulting him. He has a flowery language, right? He's a wordsmith. But hang on, let me finish, please. But the words you're using are so atypical in how they would generally be used. It's very difficult to understand what you're trying to get across. Does that make sense?
In other words, it's not common sense.
So let's.
Yeah, I can't use common
phrase-
sense to
the
understand
phrase-
half the words you're using because you're using them improperly.
All right.
What you talking about the word common sense?
Well, yeah, the phrase.
That's-
When you say common sense, most people would consider common sense something that's so obvious that to perceive that everybody can understand.
Like if it's raining outside, common sense says take an umbrella.
Yeah.
See now. This
Okay, but
is
if I want
all
to talk about
off-
like the Monty Hall problem, that's not common sense. It's a veridical paradox. It goes against
I
common
mean,
sense.
what does common sense have to do with physics? It doesn't.
Yeah, you can't just use base intuition and common sense.
Yeah,
to
common sense is not
discover
gonna
a
get
lot
you
of
into
the
orbital
rules of
mechanics.
Physics and science.
Hell, you can't bring common sense into philosophy or deep history.
Look, y'all so lost in y'all words that y'all took the point of me saying to use y'all common sense as an actual standpoint, like it's a religion or something.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I think you just took the opposite of what we were just saying. You literally went the opposite
so
direction.
when you say common sense, tell us what you mean. When you say it's common sense or they used common sense, what do you mean?
Like I said, common sense. Y'all trying to make me use that as some form of goalpost, like it's something I have to stand on.
No, that's not at all the case.
Pilotman is because you're the only person here who uses it differently than the rest of us.
Right.
If you got you can understand me. If you have common sense, then you can understand.
Then you're saying that all of us don't have common sense.
Yeah, you're saying
But
that
you're
literally
not telling
200
us
people
what
that are
it
watching
is.
this don't have common sense because well, it's 5 people that are supporting you, but
By the way,
trying to make
Landon, I'm mad at you. Bring me soup.
So now you're trying to make common sense a scientific measure or something.
No. I'm asking you to just let us know when you say the words common sense, what do you mean by that? And how is it different from what we mean? We just want to find a common term so we can understand each other better.
And come to common ground.
When I say common sense, I'm not saying it in your lost indoctrination terms. I'm saying it as in use your common sense.
that's a tautology, though. That's You're basically saying common sense is what you use to determine common sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't explain to me what common sense is the way you're using
You
it.
sit here like you don't know what I mean by common sense all you want, but you're using common sense to come to those conclusions.
That's not
true.
You're not defining.
Whatever
You're not
logical-
defining what common sense
whatever
is, though.
Whatever logic you come into conclusions in your mind, you're making sense out of it. So
Okay,
now
there we go. That's sort of a definition.
I'm gonna
Okay.
give
So, like,
partial credit for that if that's okay. That's not how I define it. But
I mean, yeah, it makes sense what he's
start-
saying,
we'll
but I mean,
start
that's not
baby
true.
steps.
I know.
Baby steps.
Baby steps, dude. Yeah, baby
So,
steps.
all right. So innate, natural understanding that just comes to you, right? That's common sense.
Things that are self-evident that don't require, an exceptional amount of reason to figure out, right? Usually, common sense things are usually self-evident things.
Look, common sense ain't something that you can or pull out and reach. It's just something that we can calculate with our mind.
We don't calculate common sense. There's no quantification of common sense.
Yeah, common sense.
You don't say he has 50 units of something for common sense.
We're gonna get lost in some more words. Now we're gonna get lost in some more words. When you know to come to any kind of common sense in your mind or to come to a conclusion, you have to make sense out of it. That's what it's doing. We don't need to get lost in the words of why.
But you can make sense of something, and it still could be wrong.
Right. Absolutely.
So are you pertaining that to me? And that would be the argument if you are.
I think that you would be an excellent example of it.
So what and
I'm still wondering how he's not indoctrinated as opposed to us being indoctrinated.
I think
I
he's
guess
doing
right.
it
So
intentionally
again, as
to get away from that.
Because I went outside and learned the same way with whoever wrote the books that y'all read to think y'all know about astrology.
So in other words, you're
outside and-
indoctrinated.
how do you know that the way you learned was the way that our sources learned? Because you don't actually even know our sources.
Because I use my common sense. It's not hard.
Wait, are you
But the people
indoctrinated?
who wrote our science books and textbooks,
You wanna
common
argue?
sense.
But
You wanna
when I use my common sense, I
Listen.
understand that astrology is a fraud.
Yeah, and if any of you had
You wanna argue-
if any of you had common sense, you wouldn't be here in the first place. So let's get that out of the way. What the hell are you guys doing here?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
so let's understand that. But I think,
Rating
hang on,
Steve
but
to
I
rename
think
his channel Uncommon Sense.
no, you know what? I might do it. Good tip. So I mean, Landon kind of has a point. One thing I think all of us, besides the pilot, none of us believe in astrology. We think it's all bullshit. That's common sense to me.
Yeah.
It's literally bullshit.
Okay, you don't
Absolutely
believe in astrology.
bullshit.
They wouldn't put warning labels on everything if everybody had common sense.
Yeah, don't
It's
drive
simple
with
as
sun
that.
shield installed in your car.
This road is unsafe when underwater.
Don't stick
Common
paper
sense
clips
is
into
so
electrical
common.
outlets. That kind of shit. There's common sense.
Warning labels disprove common sense. Period.
Yeah, don't
Muzzle
drink the
pointed in a
bleach.
safe direction.
When you have to put warning labels on
End
Tide
of
Pods, come on.
Look, at the end of the day, astrology is knowledge of the stars.
No, it's
the
not.
simple
No, it's
fact
not.
that-
No, that's not what
No,
astrology
not.
is.
No.
I'm going to go ahead and
Then what-
stop you right there, 'cause that's not what it is.
Hard stop. Hard stop. Yeah, the first
I mean,
one,
it-
astronomy is the study of the
Okay.
stars, not astrology.
Astrology
No,
is the study of the
astrology-
movements and relative positions of celestial bodies interpreted as having an influence on human affairs in
Exactly.
the natural world.
That's
And that was
astrology.
purely from memory.
Astronomy is a branch of science.
No.
No, it's not.
You said
No, it's
astrology.
not. Astrology is
Astrology.
not a branch of science at all.
Astronomy, do your research, bruh.
Astronomy
You said
is not
astrology.
astrology.
No, astrology is bogus.
Okay,
Astronomy.
Is
All right.
an offspring of astrology.
No, it's not.
Astronomy is
No,
offspring
it's
of
dude,
astrology.
pilot.
Astrology is a
No, that's like saying
bastardization-
chemistry is an offshoot of alchemy. No, it's not.
Oh my
Astrology
God. please don't
means,
bring up
by definition, knowledge of the stars.
That's not what astrology
means, by
is.
definition,
Astrology is not mentioned stars in the definition.
No, it's how those celestial bodies
Influence
influence,
you.
human stuff.
Yes.
in the
Again,
natural
this all
world.
comes down to I think he has a fundamental misunderstanding of terms.
I agree.
No, y'all do, because y'all lost in words.
Well,
All you gotta do
use
is
the
We have
dictionary.
a dictionary.
go outside,
I don't even have
Go
to use a
outside.
dictionary. We all come to a
All right,
consensus.
let's
Wait, I got a
do
question.
this.
I got a
Let's
question.
do
I got a
this.
I have a question. Let me ask you guys because I
Let's do
know.
it. How
Wait,
do
hang
we
on. To pilot.
calculate
Wait.
How do we
Wait. To
calculate days?
pilot. Can I ask
How
a
do we
question?
calculate
Wait, hold up. Hold up.
To
Hold
pilot.
up.
Just
Hold up.
Woo.
How do we
Wait. Hang
calculate
on.
days?
To pilot.
All right.
How many of you have?
How do we calculate
God damn it, to pilot. Hang on.
Pilot, calm
Quiet,
your
quiet.
tits.
How
G-man.
many of you have taken a college level course in astrology? I know we have I've taken astronomy in college. I know Landon's taken a shit ton of astronomy in college. Many of us have taken astronomy in college. How many have ever taken astrology in college? Anybody?
No.
Do they offer it?
It don't mean nothing. What does that mean?
Because
No,
it's
they don't
bullshit.
offer it. Yeah, it's complete bull.
It's the
Well, I
same
will
reason
put
we
this.
don't have
It's kind
alchemy
of funny.
classes.
I take history courses for anthropology. They do bring it up in comparative religion.
Sure, comparative religion.
Answer this.
Yeah.
How do we calculate days?
But that's the only
How
place
do we
it's brought up.
How
It's
do
not
we,
brought up
because
in,
we can
like,
observe the
scientific
sun going up and down.
That's astrology. That's
No,
not
it's
astrology.
not.
No. Like, okay, Pilot Man, let's do this. What's the difference between astronomy and astrology?
Because astronomy is a scientific method to astrology.
Oh,
so
for
they
fuck's
started
sake. No,
measuring.
it's
I'm going to slap you, pilot.
All right.
Holy shit!
Pilot,
Okay.
you're just so wrong on this.
All right,
Not even
that's
wrong.
kind of. Could you be more specific when you say? Could you
use your common sense. You can't be no more specific than this. A scientific method is
Pacific's an ocean. I don't know what your definition of Pacific is. It could be
that
something
we
different.
created.
This calls for more rum.
Travels of the
What's your
stars.
definition of
That's
is?
astronomy.
Okay, so hold up. Do you believe, Pilot Man? Let's put it this way: do you believe that the positions of the stars and other celestial bodies in the sky influence our lives in the natural world around us?
Do we got summer, winter, fall?
Oh my god.
That's not the question.
Like the positions of the stars. Do the positions of the stars influence like my fate?
We get weather based on
That's
the
not his
condition
question. To pilot.
Right.
Let me try to word it. To pilot. Can I use?
Rephrase it like this.
Annoyed
Can
because
I
I'm getting
use the
lost in
position
Earth.
of the planets with
I'm
respect to the stars to
You
determine
don't
my future or
Pilot.
something related to me? Can
come
I make predictive?
level.
Can I make
You use
prediction?
your
Oh my God,
to
pilot!
level.
You need to stop when people are talking. Can I use the planets in relationship to the stars to make futuristic predictions about myself and how it influences me?
His fate, his luck.
This is a good day to buy a lottery ticket, that kind of stuff.
Well, is you gonna wake up tomorrow? I know tomorrow the sun gonna rise.
Oh, for
What
fuck's
the
sake!
fuck?
Okay, so here's what we mean, Pilot Man. When we say astrology, what we're saying is, can I hold up now? Hold up. So okay,
pilot.
Okay, when 99.999% of humanity says astrology, what we mean is, doesn't matter. Let's call it Ooga Booga. All right.
Ooga Booga.
Wait, hold up. Is Ooga Booga? Is it looking up into the stars and by the positions of those stars, being able to learn things about our luck or our fate, for instance? Does that have any bearing on those things? Regardless of what you call it, is that a thing that happens?
How do you know how do you think we get structure from? Pattern.
Answer the question.
So do you?
Answer the question.
Okay. Oh wait. All right. Well, we can run with this. Do you believe that the pattern and the structure on Earth, like the weather, the calendar, the seasons, the tide, do you believe that's all derivative of the positions of the stars?
What else would it be?
Oh.
Right.
Question.
So a lot of people would say that that's not a valid method of reasoning, right?
God.
Because there could be other explanations. For instance,
use our common sense. Let's use our common sense.
Listen, Pilot Man, common sense doesn't tell us that the moon.
Let's break it down to the simplest form.
Okay, you
when
guys,
you go outside and
God damn,
up,
pilot,
do you
listen
feel
to
the
me.
heat from the sun?
Pilot, you cannot just sit there and talk when somebody's talking because it's just killing my ears.
See,
anybody else's.
Pilot, I understand what
Breathe.
you're saying, but I'm talking about. Let's not forget the sun. Forget the sun exists for a second. I'm talking about Polaris and all the other stars out there, Bob and Steve and X398,000, all those other stars out there. I mean, not the sun. Forget the sun for a moment. All those stars way out there in their positions, like the constellations. Do the constellations affect the tides or the seasons or our luck or our future or fortune? Do those constellations affect it?
When we talk about asterisms and constellations, which is the stars behind our local stars, those are the stars that's affecting the rotation of our stars. Our local
stars. Okay, I get it. So those stars. Let's run with that. So those stars affect our stars. Fine. We'll run with that. Sure, but do they affect my personal life and my future? Like my personal life, my luck, my fortune, my fate. Can I determine what my fate will be, or my fortune, or my luck?
Please give a yes or no.
Looking at the constellation.
Simple yes or no. No asking a good question.
No, we got it. We got to know, gents.
Did he
we
say
got to
no?
know.
No, I didn't hear him. I have to hear him.
No, I think we got an answer.
No, I want to hear
we got an
this.
answer.
The pilot, did you say no?
I said no.
Did you agree astrology is bullshit?
That happens. Everybody, break out the hardcore cocaine.
Oh my God!
No.
Wow.
That's what it sounds like.
You've
it
just
sounds like y'all got your own perception of astrology, and y'all bringing all what y'all don't understand to me. It's not my fault y'all don't understand these things.
Well, you don't want us to be indoctrinated, do you?
Yeah, I think you're indoctrinated, and everybody here actually is giving you the actual definition of astrology, and you just literally admitted that astrology is bullshit.
That's your lostness in it. If you have sense, you will know astrology is knowledge of the stars, no matter how you put it. No matter how you put it. Whether you want to.
No, it's not. I don't know where you keep getting that from. It's not.
Out on the earth, it's the same thing.
So, Pilot Man, as I said before, that. So, what's the difference between astronomy and astrology? Do you think that there's
it's the same thing? I don't care about your lostness in words. It's the same thing.
It is not the same thing.
Okay, so you believe that that's the same thing, but you just said that is. But you just said what we call astrology basically isn't real.
Astrology is knowledge of the stars, and astronomy is a scientific method.
I don't.
Astronomy,
To pilot. That's just That's just wrong. It's flat out just horribly wrong.
I don't want to be this person, but again, I asked this question earlier. Like,
where did you get that from? What is astrology then?
Pilot, buddy.
Rags told you.
Astrology.
Pilot, I want to ask you this question. Please answer it in a yes or no question.
If you got an astrologer, don't be like I don't know what I'm talking about. You talking about horse astrology. You're talking about topic astrology. I don't care about what you think the influence is on you.
Pilot,
I'm talking about astrology. Period.
It's starting to get wind down time. Let's not get all triggered. Let's not get all triggered.
All right.
I'm trying to
Pilot, calm down. All right, Pilot. Let's go ahead and do this. What if I gave you the definition that Google gives me, and you can tell me where it's wrong? Could we do that?
On Google right now.
Oh, okay. So
Google.
Let's read astrology, the definition,
Call
and
Google.
when I get to the part that's wrong, let me know.
Siri,
okay?
Siri, Google.
All right.
Yeah.
So astrology.
1-800 Google.
The study of the movements and relative positions of celestial bodies, interpreted as having an influence on human affairs in the natural world. Was there anything in that definition that you think is incorrect or is a bad definition?
That's correct.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
And you agree though that hang on, you agree that those planets do not have an effect on our lives.
Okay, so let me give you the definition of astronomy, and we'll do the same thing. Let me know if you don't agree with this, and then we'll work from there. Right, so the definition of astronomy is the branch of science that deals with celestial objects, space, and the physical universe as a whole.
I just said that.
Well, okay, we'll work with that.
I think we're making progress here, Rags. I think we're making progress.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go with that.
We'll take that.
To get lost
Baby
in words,
steps.
Let me ask you this question. And just answer it honestly. All right. So, you're in a desert walking along in the sand when all of a sudden you look down and you see a tortoise. It's crawling towards you. You reach down. You flip the tortoise over on its back. The tortoise lays on its back, its belly baking in the hot sun, beating its legs trying to turn itself over. But it can't, not without your help. But you're not helping. Why is that?
I don't even care. What is
that's
that?
A joke. That's part of that's a joke. It's the Voight-Kamp test. It's a joke.
Listen, use your common sense. Do the sun influence you on Earth?
Likewise, doesn't matter.
No, see what in reality what you do is when you see that too, you Batista bomb that motherfucker.
Astronomy. You said astronomy, a branch of science. You just said it. Where is I'm wrong?
No, astrology is not a branch of science. Astronomy.
Where did you guys dig this guy up?
Choke slam that turtle.
Oh, he's got legit following on it. He's got.
I was joking. I was trying to see if you're a replicant. That's fine.
A dumb motherfucker. Listen,
for sure.
Excuse me, motherfucker. We will get this out in the street, bitch.
Throw down.
What the fuck?
Shit just got real, boys and girls.
Astronomy, astronomy is a branch of science. You even said it yourself.
Astronomy is a branch of science.
Astronomy.
Yes. Not astrology,
Right. So
but astronomy.
So if y'all want to know who created the scientific method, then whoever came with the branch.
I'm curious.
I don't think you know what the scientific method is.
Do you also believe in astromancy?
Hold on, let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish, Pilot Man. Well,
Astrology predates astronomy because the person who created the scientific method was after the fact. So any scientific method or branch of science that goes towards measuring the stars came after astrology, which is
okay. Just because, would you agree that just because it came first, that doesn't mean it's correct?
Right.
What are you talking? What's correct?
What I'm trying to say is that, for instance, barbarism came before democracy. All right.
It's the
I think
same
we can agree.
thing. Use your common
I
sense.
just don't think he understands anything you guys are saying.
It's the same
Well,
thing.
Pilot Man,
Pilot, are you honestly going to tell me that being nomads is better than being agrarian?
Hey, the Pilot, I got a question for you. Are you single? And if not, are you looking? Because we have the perfect woman for you, man. And she's hot. No joke.
You might think that you don't have any common sense.
Apparently,
Miss Debbie.
Yeah, man, I'm thinking Miss Debbie. What do you think? Put the Pilot and Debbie. Dude, I'm trying to hook you up, brother. Hang on, wait. Dude, hang on.
Actually happening.
The Pilot.
Your argument.
Calm down.
Reel it in. Reel it in, man. Reel it in. Just breathe deep.
Emergency kitten. Emergency kitten deploy.
What would happen? Emergency kittens deploy. So what would happen? What would happen if Debbie and the Pilot had babies?
The internet.
They'd be beautiful kids. No
Steve,
question about that.
Steve, just use your common sense.
Use your
We
common
ain't about to have no
sense.
intelligent conversation. I'm about to
Okay, can I ask a question?
I think that's how Mr. Intelligent Design got born.
Came in the room.
Let's do this. If you talk a lot about common sense and how that's how you come to a lot of your conclusions. Okay, all right, fair enough. People did that for thousands of years till we found a better way. But
I'm mad because I don't use no words. To do it.
we're not mad. We're not mad at all. I'm just clarifying.
Yeah, I was trying to hook you up. How am I mad?
So let's try to let's do this. Let's say you're on a beach. You want to how much sand is on a beach? How many grains of sand? Could you discover that? Could you discover the answer to that question using only your common sense?
Oh,
What do that have to do with anything?
No, what I'm trying to illustrate here is that I don't think that using just your common sense is a good, reliable method to discover the truth about the world.
Okay,
Well, see, what I'm
Rex, can I
that's an indoctrination.
can I ask
told
one
you that.
question real quick? Pilot, what do you think the definition of common sense actually
No, we're not
is?
going.
We're already past that. Don't go down that route.
No. The reason why I asked this question.
Veto.
Before. Veto that shit, Steve.
Yeah, back that truck up.
Yeah.
All right, but back to what I was saying earlier. I disagree with you. I think here, principally, amongst other things, that common sense is a reliable way of discovering the truth, just on its own.
It's really shitty, actually.
What truth? Your truth?
No. I think there's only one.
Yeah, let's go
truth,
into the assumption that there's just one truth
Okay, now
for
we're getting into
arguendo.
your world. We're getting into your burden of proof now. Okay, let me know this truth.
I don't think you know what that means either.
What are we trying to prove here?
You tell me. This is your truth.
Well, no,
No,
you
it's
said I had a
not.
Well, let's put it this way. Let's say you and I are both trying to find the answer to a question that neither of us know. All
Look,
right?
I'm not tough like you are, so I'm not gonna be in no desert trying to find something.
No.
If I use
The
my-
turtle thing was a joke. Let it go. All right. It was a joke. Let it go. You passed with flying colors. So,
congrats.
Let's say we both go to the beach. We take a bunch of sand in our hands, and both of us are trying to figure out how many grains of sand is in our hands. Do you think that common sense will lead you to the correct answer, or do you think there's a better way for us to find out? Do you think that there's for instance, photosynthesis? How do the plants turn sunlight into food? Right? Does common sense tell you the answer to that?
I'm telling you, I will use my common sense to know that it's a waste of goddamn time counting every piece of goddamn thing.
Okay. That's fine.
He got you there. He's got you there.
So that's why I did the photosynthesis thing, right?
Wait a minute. I'm curious. I'm very curious about this. So, do you know anything about the security industry, Pilot?
Don't care.
Okay, I'm just asking you a question. Do you know anything
Common
about
sense
it?
doesn't care. Move on.
It doesn't care because it doesn't matter because it's not common sense.
Okay, I'm just curious. Like,
No, it is. It could be common sense. What I'm saying is, my attention is not on that. To know
I know
what the
it's not.
common-
I'm just asking.
But here's the thing: it doesn't. Your attentions don't have to be on that because
Yeah.
you can use your intuitive common sense and come up with the right answer anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, you should be able to walk into any nuclear facility in America and just take over and keep
Yeah,
that thing
hey
running.
dude.
because
Yeah,
common
look at.
sense-
I had to go through nuclear
Are you-
power school. I had to learn how to operate a nuclear power plant and I had to learn how to train people. But you know what? I should just use my common sense. Fuck, what the hell I bothered to go to
Exactly.
school for?
Yeah,
I didn't need all that
common
training.
sense would have
They
told me
spent a
to,
they
to,
spent
like,
a quarter
detain
million
a bunch of
dollars.
individuals.
Yeah, the government spent a quarter of a million dollars to get me through nuke school. They didn't have to spend a dime. I just could have used common sense.
Yeah, I mean, heck, if Feynman can use his common sense to find
Yeah, shit, would have saved him $250,000.
valve, why can't you?
Do you know how many people I would have detained if I used common sense?
Job. If you don't got no job, it makes sense to go get a job. Why are y'all getting lost?
That's not what common sense
Well,
is.
not here in America. Sometimes it pays more to not get a job. But the point is that the point is that the common sense, right? Like Red Eye actually used a good example. If you walked into a nuclear power facility, there is nothing in the common sense handbook that would tell you how to keep that
I
facility
guarantee
running.
it, and that's
Right?
my field, so I can tell you from firsthand experience.
So-
yeah, it's
I
not.
don't care
Yeah.
how many new scenarios y'all.
Hell, you can't even walk into the law enforcement field and use common sense.
So the
Why-
point
why-
we're trying to make, Pilot Man, is that common sense is not a good, reliable method to discover the truth.
Yeah, they call it
What
a
truth?
the truth, the correct answer, the accurate representation of reality.
It's not a
Don't get
reliable
frustrated,
truth producing
Hating in
method.
your life.
I'm not
I don't
being
even know what
frustrated. I'm not being
Law
frustrated
and
at
I'm
all.
You
frustrated.
get it. I choose not to get into y'all hypothetical lostness.
This
That's
isn't.
what I'm trying to-
No. This isn't hypothetical.
For the millionth
Hypothetical was
time,
just to explain
wait,
what hypothetical
Pilot,
means.
stop using that word hypothetical. You have not used it once correctly, I don't think. I don't think you know what that word
So-
means. So it's very
Well,
confusing when you use a
he's
word like
just-
that.
You
And
keep using that word. I don't think it means.
it doesn't mean what you think
describing
it
our
means.
examples. He's describing the examples that we give to illustrate the
That's
Yeah,
not.
but that's not hypothetical.
Oh no, I'm giving a
Go ahead.
hypothetical. Like that the nuclear thing. If you walked into it's hypothetically if you walked into a nuclear facility. It's like I get what he's trying to say.
I mean,
But-
I have enough common sense to know that I should not
I
run a
have
nuclear
some
power
common sense
plant.
to know something
Well, yeah, that's
about
why you
hypothetical.
hire other people.
Yeah, he's
to
a
do
smart
it.
guy, but you know what? I wouldn't let him touch.
Like-
I would not let him be on my nuclear power plant without supervision.
The same reason I wouldn't let Landon run a jail.
Yeah, no offense to Landon,
Exactly.
but Landon, if you don't know
Guilty
how
as charged.
if you don't know
The
how control
person
rods
asking the
work, and
question
if you don't know what a starter rate
about
equation
the
is,
answer.
then yeah. And you're a math guy, so
Actually, I
The
you could
people-
learn it.
okay,
I do,
Pilot Man,
actually, I do know about
people-
control rods, but that's a
I'm
different story.
curious about something. Pilot, have you actually read Common Sense by Thomas Paine?
Oh,
Ooh.
Wait, we
Oh,
got, wait,
the people who are asking the questions care about the answers, Pilot Man.
we got Trump's
If you use your
2020
common
thing here.
sense-
Who cares? Trump 2020. Who cares?
Shut up, Red.
I want to
Okay.
Let the world
Every
burn.
time you say hypothetical, the wall gets a foot higher. Okay.
That was awesome.
Like the only reason I assume that you're American, right?
What you call
The wall
vampire?
gets a foot.
Well, no,
Whoa, 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 no, no,
That was good.
We are
Vampires.
latching ourselves to this, and we are riding it over the rails. What about vampires?
This is what you call
Vampires.
Okay,
I made that-
vampires.
This is what
Okay.
you call vampire. I made that word up.
Okay,
You made the word
actually,
word.
it exists already. You didn't make it up. It existed before you were alive.
Okay, now you want to argue me. That's why I said it. So you can argue with me.
What the
You
fuck
just
is
made it
going
up.
on?
What's going on?
Am I in the dream world? What's
No,
going
you're
on?
I think we are.
Well-
I think we're all high,
Which
and
real-
this is just
which-
the aftermath.
Which reality are
Look,
we
I
in right
did
now?
that to show you how much y'all clinging on to words.
You brought up
no, no.
vampires. It was interesting for a second.
Yeah.
So now-
Okay, I
so-
still
so
want to
you
ask you a question. Are you
Look,
American?
You proved my point by
Pilot.
wanting to argue vampires. You
No,
proved
we
my
didn't.
point by arguing about vampires.
Pilot.
There's no
Yes
argument.
or no? Are you American?
You proved my point by wanting to argue
Pilot,
about
are you an
vampires.
American or a
Oh,
communist?
listen, Pilot Man. Pilot, all that you proved was that we care about having a common definition for a word we want to discuss.
You are lost, and you're frustrated that you are lost, and you mad that I'm not lost.
We're definitely no, we're not frustrated. I certainly am.
You're not even found.
I'm not frustrated. I'm more annoyed.
You getting frustrated that I'm not projecting.
No.
I'm thoroughly entertained.
No,
the stuff
Pilot,
coming out of the hole in your
Pilot,
face.
I'm not frustrated. I'm really not. I'm really not frustrated. I'm not mad
I'm not
at all.
frustrated. I'm just. It's annoying.
The only reason I'm frustrated is Pilot, you're talking and nobody can hear you because you're on a phone. So all I hear is just wah 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 like peanuts.
Yeah, if you can, Pilot, could you turn up your microphone volume a little?
You know, it's really easy for me to understand because I'm a Muppet, right? And I'm used to hearing wah 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 wah.
So,
oh my God.
So Pilot, going back to how we discover, the truth. Before you say what truth, right? Pilot, do you think that there are multiple versions of the truth? Like, do you think that there are multiple correct truths, right? That can be contradictory, for instance.
Giggity.
So where y'all think I'm wrong at is truly where y'all wrong at. Oh, some new type of.
He's robotic. I can't even hear him
It's
anymore.
showing your
Okay, Pilot,
Let me interpret it.
your voice on the microphone roboted for a little bit. Go ahead and start over.
And by the way, thanks for the super chat, Max. I did notice the other one, but I didn't get a chance to read it out.
If you're mad that I'm doing wrong, you're basically the one that's doing the wrong. And I'm trying to show you. Every time you throw a concept at me, that's your loss.
Well,
that's
we're asking questions so that we can get information, right? We're
But
trying
don't ask me
to
about
learn.
something you confused about. Ask me something that I know. Don't ask me something that you confused about. Ask me something.
Well, I'm asking. If I was confused, then I would want to ask you a question to learn from you.
Quentin, can you?
I think the only person confused here is him.
Okay.
Quentin, your mic is
All right,
really
so-
horrible. Can you mute, please? Thank you.
So as I said before, when we bring up truth in the past, you've said that which truth, what truth. This implies that there are multiple truths. So when a lot of us say truth, they'll, like for me, when someone asks me what truth is, I'll say what corresponds to reality. Okay. So he
phone.
gone.
No, it's a phone quake.
Maybe he'll pop
No, it's
back.
a phone quake. Relax. It happens.
He was
I
having
just wanna say this,
phone
you guys-
connection problems.
All right, so when now that we got a little bit of a lull, nobody's picking on Doelow. The people in the live chat, we've asked him straightforward questions. He has not given a straightforward answer to any of them. That's straight up fact.
I got him to say no.
What?
I got him to say
One
no.
answer. Yes,
I gotta know.
You gotta know. I'm so proud of you.
I gotta know.
Come over here.
And I'm sorry if I
come over here, Rags, and I'll
question,
scratch
but,
you behind your ear.
curious.
Other than that one
the ear.
question, we have not got a straight answer. So nobody's picking on
Like,
him.
and there is
Nobody's
a reason I do
frustrated.
answer certain questions.
We've got some feedback from the audience. Apparently, we're derogatory. We do apologise for that.
No, not really.
We're so lusciously sorry.
And
Can't you tell Red Eye is
This
sorry?
is not one sec. This is not an atheist hangout. There's many different belief systems in here. I'm not an atheist, so. And by the way, if you use caps,
say I'm
you're
an
going to start getting
agnostic,
timed
so-
out because it's really annoying. If you're going to talk in the live chat, use normal conversational things. You don't need to all be caps. I have chat mods that can start timing people out for using caps. Go ahead.
Hi.
It's a little bit annoying.
Hello.
Have some etiquette,
Watching
people.
you all.
We're all adults here.
Nah, who cares? Use your common sense.
Fuck off.
Don't bring
Comment.
I hate comments.
Wait.
I hate
Now-
that
now-
shit.
White men are now being
Oh,
blamed.
he's
It's
not back.
white men's fault.
Well, I can't understand what
God damn it,
Pilotman's
Whitey.
saying. He's on a phone and he's cutting out, and it's like he doesn't seem to understand people are talking, and he's trying to
Why
talk.
did
And
you invite
I don't hear
He
words.
doesn't seem to understand. Period.
Yeah, that's well.
I hope he dropped out because of the phone.
No, it's a phone.
I hope.
quake.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
happens?
Well,
I
it's
hope
very
so,
possible he might drop out because of that and then not come
That
back.
may be true. But a phone quake, what happens is people on Google Hangouts, if anybody's on a phone or a tablet,
Yeah.
gets kicked.
No,
And
y'all
come back
don't
in.
want to understand what he's saying.
I
Oh,
know,
we
I'm not
desperately
woke.
want to discover. We.
Oh, I
we-
would love to
want
understand.
to know so
Yeah, that's
much.
what's funny. We're sitting
That's
here the
why I
last
asked the questions
3
I do
hours
ask.
Yeah,
trying to
that's
get
why we're asking him
understand.
questions.
Right.
That's why we're trying to find out what
Yep.
he means by the word. That's why. That's we're trying to discover his dictionary.
And this is not a
His
debate.
personal dictionary.
This is like 9 educated people talking to one person who probably didn't graduate high school, trying to understand what the hell he's saying, and maybe help explain to him something. That's all that is. There's no
And the
debate
thing
here.
is, like, I'm not gonna lie, I direct the conversation in my way because I'm not a scientific person. I'm a historian.
Oh, yeah,
so,
I don't know
like,
anything about science.
I've seen some metaphysics PhD people say the same kind of stuff he's saying. So
yeah,
I don't deal with
Not
metaphysics
by-
people.
I like
metaphysics is completely out the window for me.
I like metaphysics.
Yeah, but metaphysics is philosophy.
Sure. I mean, when you're talking about existential stuff, and you're talking about ethics, and you're talking about anything like that, that's all metaphysics.
But it's useless in the field that I'm in because I'm just like,
Well,
but I deal
you're in a
with
useless
things.
field, to be period. But no, I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
kidding.
sorry.
I'm
My
kidding.
bad.
I'm very kidding. I'm kidding.
All right. So I'm about to head out because I got work in the morning. But Steve, I'd like to thank you
Yeah,
for
we're gonna
having
be
me
calling
here.
this to a quits here soon, anyway. So it's been a fun.
Yeah, if he doesn't pop back, I really hope people can say anything you like, but will not tolerate racism. Oh, come on.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I don't know. Some moderators not being fun.
Now, there's some people in there basically saying there's white demons and white devils.
I don't. I have a zero tolerance for.
Wait,
for
did you
racism.
assume my gender
First
and
off-
my race?
Yeah, you
Apparently.
assumed my demonology and
That's true.
My gender.
Yeah, you could have.
Like, I'm
a
all
You're
for
really-
it.
you're
I'm
really-
anything I
this
want to
is
be.
Intolerance at its finest here, Rex.
So I would appreciate it if you didn't use my neutral demon pronoun, which I don't even know, but use it.
Check
Not
your
only
demonic
that, but,
privilege.
you're
Check
a
your
white
demon
guy.
privilege.
And
You're
I'd like to
taller than me.
ask,
Check your privilege.
Hashtag hail Satan.
and just
Hashtag-
I'd like you to respect the fact that I'm an attack helicopter painted in a winter camo for European conditions.
Is that
Okay,
what you? Is that what you
you
did?
need to
with
come
subs?
up
You
with a better
sold your
one.
soul.
No.
Red, you need to come up with a better one. You use that one way too often.
I identify as common sense. I have
Oh,
no
God.
color. I don't even have a definition.
And you presuppose astrology.
I also presuppose astrology, and don't even get me started when I ask him how he can prove the stars are real if he presupposes that there are stars.
You had no idea what you were
Good-
getting
good
yourself
point.
into when you dropped in this hangout tonight, did you?
I did not.
I got a
By the way,
666
Steve-
super chat real quick. One asking people to clarify his proof that y'all don't want to know what he's saying at all. Rum and Coke night is a farce. I don't know what the hell that
Yo,
means.
Mama's a farce.
Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to.
All
be
we
a
have to say to that is thank you for $6.66.
Thank you.
Hail
appreciate
Satan.
the chat. Hell, yeah.
Hail Satan!
Hashtag
So,
hail Satan.
By the way, Steve, I think we should have a show on nuclear power plants.
I would
Yes.
do, I would do a presentation on nuclear power plants.
I would-
And
because-
More of these circle jerks
And
about nuclear
I would
fission.
say, just to prove that Pilot Man is right, have absolutely zero people who know anything
That'd be
about
awesome.
nuclear fission.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
let's get-
that's me. That's me right there.
Okay,
I'll do
Muppets,
it.
you're going to come in. I want you to explain to us what happens in when you have increased steam demand and what happens in the pressurizer. And
No idea.
Including I want you to use Mollier diagrams to show us how the enthalpy entropy relationship in the actual steam generator is goes to the turbine and actually gets changed over pressure velocity compounded into the
Stop.
condenser.
You're
If you could do that for
asking
me, I'd be
all
impressed.
these questions, but it's proven my point.
Can't they just
'Cause I assume turbines.
come up with the person who came up with the process? Is that
Well,
good enough?
You know, speaking of common sense, one of the first jobs I had after college was working in nuclear fusion, right? Trying to do fusion stuff, but
Stop
that's
talking about your
more like,
sex
but
life,
that's
man.
more like tokamak stuff or Nova.
yes, actually, and baseball.
Yeah, see, but I didn't work on tokamak. I worked on D2G and S1C, which were fission.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, you break things apart. And
Yeah.
we're trying to- we were trying to
Reactor,
squish
but
them
I
together.
hardly know her.
Hey, Steve, I have a question for you real quick.
Sure.
I actually have this really curious question about your your picture, right? Your avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a manipulation of picture, or is that actually like you in gear?
It's a
better
It's a photograph from the Civil War.
It was
No, I'm
General
curious
Custer's
because
photo.
I
It was
I
General
do Civil
Custer's
War
photo that Holy Spackle put my face on.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was actually a powder monkey in a few Civil War enactments when I was
Hey,
young.
hey! We will not tolerate racism in this.
Wow, dude,
No, powder
wow.
monkey's a term.
Did he say silver?
Powder
You
monkey's
will
an
not.
actual term.
You apologize to all the powder monkeys in the chat who are watching.
Wow.
No, fuck
That's-
you. Powder monkeys is the term.
I apologize to all the
Powder
monkeys
monkeys
in-
has
in the
nothing to do with
chat.
race. It has to do with age.
Now you're not. Why can't
Now
you
you're an
see
ageist.
race?
Okay, now you're an ageist. Okay.
God damn it.
You're
I
just
feel
stepping
such
all
a
over
shit
shit,
balls.
aren't you?
I
The
feel like
paintball historians.
Ever
I
since
feel
we,
like
I
this
don't get
should
it.
be
Ever since we had
commented.
a hangout on Gamergate, things have never been the same.
Look, I'm just saying. Sometimes you wake up and wish the Confederacy won.
For the record, I went from wine through two scotches, through two grappas, and I'm bound back to wine.
Well, you need to get better, Landon.
Did you sniff the cork, Landon? That is
I
the
presuppose
important
nuclear
question.
power.
Presuppose.
It's the Fallout Church of the Church of Adam. We presuppose.
Oh God, the Fallout Church of Adam.
Presuppose nuclear power.
Yeah, I presuppose nuclear power.
But by the way, Steve,
Yes, sir.
is it wrong that after this hangout, I'm considering getting a Shiba for a pet now?
Dude, there's so many things wrong with you. I don't even know where to begin.
Do you want the list or do you just
The
want
top
the
15.
summary?
So
I just want to
one-
know if it's your common sense.
The real question
we can
is-
start the list. 1, my eye is a heart. 2, well,
Hey, don't you talk crap about my eye hearts.
That's his love for everybody.
Exactly, especially Steve and Landon and
So the next
especially
question is,
Rags.
who's
Oh my
going to
god.
be who's going to be the next person on the non sequitur show? Landon has not been on the non sequitur show yet. Red Eye hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about uncontrolled nuclear fission.
why do they call you Red Eye? How'd you get that name?
Don't get red eye.
Dude, have you seen how much meth that guy takes?
Oh yeah, yeah.
How do you know when you've had enough?
The answer to that is you don't ever have enough. You just keep going.
When the
By the
rock
way,
hits
I
your
want
head,
to
it's
point
not
out
enough.
that this guy Craig from the last one, guys, come on.
I suppose another way to answer that question.
No,
die.
no,
That's
I
when
don't.
you've
I
had
don't
enough.
know, man. I don't take credit for that. I'm sorry. I just can't. That,
But you're part of it. You
I-
can't not take credit for it.
I'm sorry. I don't know. It was like I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't understand the whole Yellow Brick Road thing.
My preacher from youth could argue better.
It made literally zero sense to me. And I thought,
Was there any actual arguments today? Did he actually make any arguments?
if there was,
No, he just refuted.
Seriously, I don't think he
No.
actually made any arguments.
I think all he did was refute. It was
Well,
almost
he
like
just
a flat
said-
Earth debate.
He just said use common sense, and it just is the way it is.
I'm going to give you a heads up about tomorrow. Expect more of the same that you had tonight, but worse.
Wait,
you can't
you're
miss it.
anti-Jeranism?
No, you don't know either of these people.
It's just a surprise.
One's he's pretty smart, but the other guy, you guys have no idea what you're in for. Please don't miss it.
He's a Mormon.
No.
Wait,
he's,
is he? Yeah, is he a Mormon?
No. He's a. I'll tell you this.
God.
He's a creationist. He's a creationist.
Jehovah's Witness.
Oh well,
He might be
not
Jada.
Mormon.
I don't know if he's Jada or not. It might be, but he's not. He's
The fact that you don't know that concerns me.
Yeah, well, he's one of those creationists that not only gets like a lot of things wrong, it's like gets everything wrong.
Oh,
fundamentally
give me an
flawed start to be-
example of something extremely wrong.
Yeah, scarily
Wait,
so.
does he use the KGV as his sole source?
But Steve,
worse
how do
than
we
that.
objectively measure levels of wrongness?
You know
Using
what?
common sense.
We need to quantify
Yes,
it.
common
We need a scale, Rags. We need a quantifiable scale of
Well-
how to measure lack of common sense, or
so
common
Steve,
sense, or just.
what I use is the bogosity meter and how many bogons per second come from the source.
How many bogons?
The bogons?
So bogon.
Oh,
is
I know
Bogon is a
this.
quantization of bogosity, right? And a bogosity meter detects bogons being.
By the
emitted
way,
from
is it
source.
just me or is blue lights appearing in Landon's eyes?
I
That's
saw
his
that.
mom.
He's not human.
I think it's his monitor.
He's reptilian, guys.
I
No,
knew
it's
it.
the stars.
I saw him
David-
eat. I know he
astrology.
requires sustenance, which means we can kill him.
David Eck was right.
Anybody who has 8 mathematical records is not of human origin.
Yeah, but But by the way, the soup was actually great, and I let it stew.
Look at them eyes. You're right. Oh my
I'm glad,
god.
but you didn't share with the rest of the class, Landon.
He's got that blue glow.
Yeah, like it's weird.
It's really
right?
creepy.
I've noticed that this whole time.
No,
I've
I
noticed the
stare at
whole
his
time. I
eyes.
just didn't say anything about it because of
got
my
that
own
blue.
Fair enough.
Colorado
If
Biker
Pilot
Club
had
Landon
been
is
in here
possessed
when
by
I said
Cthulhu.
it, Pilot had been like,
I didn't want to be rude and mentioned your blue glow.
Hey, everybody, look at that. Jerry Springer's got glow blue.
wait, he's the opposite of Red Eye. He's
I
blue
see. I have
eye.
Antarctica down here, South Pole, right? I was
Got that
That looks like the Mandelbrot
Why
set
does
almost.
Antarctica look like a chicken wing?
Yeah, why does it look like a curling photography of Antarctica?
Dang it, Landon, I'm hungry now.
It's supposed to be the eclipse, Antarctica eclipse sort of thing.
Yeah, it looks like a chicken wing.
Hashtag flatter.
It broke off into space, and now it's
Hey, if you
silhouetting
went to
the
the
moon.
South Pole gift shop, you could buy this too.
People want
Wait,
in and then
Landon,
they
next
don't
time you go to
message
the
me.
South Pole, make chicken wings.
Got to message me if you
Why?
want in, people, and yet I'm going to.
Why not?
Good
Okay,
point.
first
I like
off,
chicken.
first off, that's racist to think that people in the South Pole love chicken.
Wow. No,
Yeah,
I'm from
wait,
the South, so I
again?
can say that. I'm from the South, so I can say that.
What
Me
is wrong
too.
with you, dude? This is like twice in 5 minutes. Wow, come on, man.
Listen,
Shit,
I'm not a
it
racist just because I have space.
You should know. You should know more than anyone else that there are no black people in the South Pole. It is too damn cold.
That's a fact. I just had this weird thing on my Facebook. Somebody messaged me,
Only
Steve.
crazy white people go to the
This
South
is
Pole.
this is public, but he said, "Did you hear Dickhead Dean has a business proposal for you? A business proposition for you? Why would Dean? What could Dean possibly?
He's proposing to go out of business. I accept.
Does he want to date me? Is he like going to ask me out? Because that's creepy. What is Dean?
Ask you out to church.
Well, he's gonna start a string of chicken.
It's just on my Facebook. Somebody wrote, "Dean has a business proposal for you." I'm like, I like what? Now I'm curious.
Hey guys.
Well, I mean,
It's
it
me.
depends on
Hello,
how much
Max.
money you're
Right.
wanting to make on the street.
I'm.
How are you doing there?
You know what's cute?
I'm doing good, Landon. I just saw the Leo triplet.
Oh, it's Max.
Oh,
Oh, look, prehistoric chicken.
Max
Hey.
Landis.
Hey, Max. Guess
Hi.
what?
What?
Don't make me say it.
Do it.
I won't
Say
make you say it.
Don't make me say it, Max.
You know what?
Pictures
I'm
of
gonna
dinosaur
make you say it. I'm gonna make you say it.
Say it.
Say it. Say it. Say it. Say it.
Max's
No, hold on.
nickname is Pegasaurus Rex.
You ruined it.
No, I didn't.
I was
Max.
gonna send him a fun screenshot.
Oh, robotic.
You're roboting.
Yeah. Max, what'd you think of?
Hey,
Our
by the way-
microphone is Jurassic.
What'd you
right
think?
now,
What'd you
quite
think of
frankly.
Kent Hovind
Indeed.
cropping the hair of Jesus as he snuggled against the Raptosaurus?
Oh.
Was that cute? That was so
Does,
adorable.
does Kent even realize what he's done?
No,
of
no, I
course
don't think he
doesn't.
does.
I just wanted to.
It was literally a
What
meme to
about
mock
Kent Hovind and-
creationism, and he took it and ran with it.
Wait.
great, isn't it?
What, hold on. What happened with Ken Hovind and
There was a
putting Jesus'
There was a
hair?
meme out there of Jesus cuddling with his Raptosaurus, right? And
Oh yeah, of course he
seen
does.
that.
what
The
he did was he
meme.
took it and he gave Jesus a haircut and actually put it on his Dinosaur Adventureland opening poster.
Listen,
Yep.
memes
Kent
don't
Hovind is a
understand other
special
memes.
person.
I'm
Kent
not even
Hovind
kidding.
is himself a meme. He would not recognize another meme.
Have you guys ever actually met him in person?
No, not in person.
No.
No, but I know someone who has.
Like I met
No.
him when I was younger in person.
Everyone
I know
you
people
met
that have.
was when you were younger.
I mean, Wayne
Like
Feldman
when I
used to hang out
when I
with
was
him,
really
think.
young, he used to do tours and stuff like that. And,
He did a
you-
tour in prison.
Yeah,
That's
a little bit different. A little
Yeah.
bit different. There was
That's
That's
why
what
he's
it's
not
for.
up to date on all the memes. He has a legitimate excuse.
To be fair, guys,
Um,
Kent is the bottom.
I don't
think
think
more of a
so.
middle.
I don't think so at all.
I do because that's I've worked in a jail and I can tell you Kent is the bottom.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
Nice.
tell us because you met him when you were younger.
No. When I'm
And he was gonna
that's a
take
little
his
bit
dark
different.
awful
That's a little
turn.
bit different, buddy.
So
But,
how are you using bottom? Are you using bottom in the figurative sense? Or
No, I'm
I think it's
using
made
literal.
very literal.
He's using it in a. He's using bottom in a geographic sense.
Yeah, as a position.
Like, literally, like,
Hey,
it
We
would be the
could
person-
say a bottom in an atmospheric sense.
is there an
And the
eyeball
thing-
near the
Kent
bottom?
has
Altitude.
Kent has charisma, but he doesn't have that much charisma. He would get in the prison and be trying to talk shit, and then be like, all the real prisoners would be like, "Step down." Get
You
down.
are all stupid,
What
and
if
you
he
will not talk
started,
to me.
like reciting Bible verses, and that kept him away.
Yeah, it's not gonna
Safe.
work.
Right. It all makes sense now. Hey, just want to address some
Muppet.
people in chat real quick. Listen, if you came here thinking this was a debate environment, you were incredibly
Yeah,
wrong.
you don't know
This
where
is
you're
called
at.
Rum and Coke. No, we
Wait,
have
is that what
drinky
people are
booze and
thinking
have
in the
fun.
chat?
Yeah,
I think
Mike
this-
says.
we'll
can,
be.
can you read
You go.
Mike's chat? Red, can you read Mike's chat for me, please? His super chat.
Let's see. Kent
Muppet.
claimed he wasn't triggered, but acted triggered and threatened eternal damnation anyway. Happy tax day, Kent.
Happy tax day.
Hashtag Happy Tax Day, Ken.
Yeah, if you
which
came
is
here
true
thinking this
because
was
the
a-
IRS had that problem with their computers.
If you
so.
came here thinking this was a
okay.
debate, you guys really
Real
got
quick.
misled because that's not a.
The first word of the stream is rum.
Yeah.
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 This is not the non sequitur
Real
show.
quick,
This
Muppets,
is my
check your,
channel, bitches.
Discord PMs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah,
I looked-
I thought you'd like that.
I'll do that off live, okay, buddy?
Although I gotta
Uh-huh.
admit, that, we got about 200 people watching throughout the night, which is pretty good for a Rum and Coke night. That's not bad at all.
Absolutely.
Can't complain.
I would like to
And
thank
we
you
got
for,
Curt.
for letting me be invited. Thank you.
Oh, thanks for coming
And thanks
by.
for allowing me to be in this show,
Who
even
the
though
hell are you,
I'm
Christian?
terribly. I'm terrible.
I don't think you're terrible.
I can tell.
No, you did okay, dude. You did okay. I think that the topic was strange for that particular
Oh,
episode.
I
I'm the
think,
only one that agreed.
I think
I was in
like
news.
one of my biggest qualms about tonight is having a person who's almost reminded me of Edgar.
Yep.
You talking about Craig?
Yes.
Or-
I mean, so you're talking
Pilot.
about Edgar in terms of defining their terms.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
you're talking
Yeah.
about the butler from Aristocats?
No,
Oh, you don't
not
know
that
Edgar.
Edgar.
Oh
I like that
my
Edgar.
God.
Thank you, Rags. I like that Edgar.
Rags.
You racist prick.
We have a gift for
No,
Rags.
I didn't mention him because he's white. I mentioned him because his name is Edgar.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know any black people named Edgar.
But
Oh,
yeah, he's a guy
I
who's
do.
special.
It's Mr. Intelligent Design, right? That's
Edgar Rice.
Yes,
Rose.
that's
Edgar's
what I'm
Mr.
talking
ID.
about.
I don't know that many people named Edgar actually.
Yeah, it's a very guttural sounding name. Edgar.
Well,
Yeah, I
also
mean,
from the south.
very
Most
robust.
people from the south are named Edgar.
Because you have people like, one name per people like Madonna or Prince. Then you have Edgar.
Or like Landon or
Then you have
Steve.
Yeah, people in the
I
South
live
aren't
right
named
next to
Edgar. They're
Minnesota,
named
and
Edgar.
everybody hates Prince in Minnesota
Why? Are they racist?
because Prince.
Oh.
No, has nothing to do with race. It's fucking Prince.
Yeah, you
Oh,
racist.
Leave Prince alone.
Listen,
Landon.
I'm not racist. I'm from the south.
Yes.
No, just
That
the
means
way,
you're
just the
racist.
way the
Oh,
name
okay.
it just rolls off your tongue. It's easy to say. It's Landon. It's not feminine, but it's very
Landon.
easy to say. Landon.
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 Dude,
Landon.
It's Landon,
I-
not London
I
or
hope-
Landon.
Well, yeah, it's like London, but less Islamophobic.
All right.
Landon,
Can I-
Landon, when I grow to your age, I wish I had your hair.
Oh, thank you kindly. This is my mom's genetics.
You're gonna rip it out of his grave, you monster!
You horrible.
I had my
being.
first gray hair when I was 17. That
Well,
was
no,
it.
my grandfather's
Nice.
got the exact same hairstyle, and it's fucking amazing.
Landon's actually part Sasquatch. You should see him without a shirt on. It's like
I'm good.
It's
I'm good.
full-
Right
Now I
Right.
can believe that Sasquatch escapes detection using interdimensional portals in the trees.
Yes. And common sense.
And common sense.
Well, I'm sorry.
Which
I'm
is
Common Sense by Tom and Peg.
like, how do you create portals? It's just common sense. You just, there, you
Common
you
sense.
just do it. It's
By the way,
obvious.
That's how I got through college,
Thomas
common
Paine
sense.
question was brilliant.
Didn't even have to read
Thank
it.
you.
It's
I
common
did the
sense.
thing.
It was a pain to listen to him, is what it was.
I wish he would have came back after his phone quake, but well, what are you gonna do?
I
right?
do too.
Yeah,
I think we were finally starting to.
Make some
Like
progress.
I said, I think
No, that's a
probably he
lie,
got
but,
disconnected,
maybe
and then
we
he was
could've.
like, "I'm not coming back."
Okay, guys, I got to clear something up. Technically, the name the word astrology means study of the stars. What he wasn't getting is what the study of the stars is under the name astronomy. I mean astrology.
Well, astrology, it's like the
Max.
study of the stars. Da 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 da.
Study
Max,
the stars
why do
as
you-
they
Yeah.
It
affect
keeps
your
going.
life. Oh wait,
Right,
oh wait.
exactly.
I guess
but he wasn't fucking getting it.
apparently he's gone live on his
Yeah,
Take
channel.
apparently
that
got
out.
live.
Very.
Wait, he's gone live.
Yeah, I guess he went live on his channel.
What the hell?
Of course he
I
would.
think
By the way,
someone in
I
chat
wanna
said
make this
he-
very
he
clear.
went to
I
rant on his own line.
I want to make this very clear. He was not kicked out by any such imagination. There was just a phone quake where people that are on tablet or phones, they just get knocked out every so often, and they come back right back in. But I guess he didn't come back in.
It's the new G-Man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's a new G.
Well, I mean, I'm fascinated by the
All right,
guy.
well, I'm gonna head out.
He's a very good wordsmith, and I think he's very poetic.
Yeah,
I think
but
he's
you've
just,
said the same thing about G-Man, Steve.
I have never said the G-Man was a wordsmith. Please quote me on that.
Oh, no.
Okay,
when does
listen,
that ever happen?
I will disagree with you. I don't think this guy's a good wordsmith.
Well, I'll go look at his
I
channel.
think-
Go and look at his channel. He does some.
I think that well, maybe
I think
the
you broke
problem-
him, Rags. I think you broke him because you explained to him that astrology is bullshit, and I think he
Well,
might have been triggered.
It's just taking it.
Well, also, he
little
doesn't
baby
understand
steps
what
at a
astrology
time. It's just taking little baby steps.
Well,
If he's getting hung up on what the words actually are, all right, let's look over that. Okay, let's just go to each word and tell me where it's wrong. Oh, none of it's wrong. Okay, thanks for wasting our time. Let's
Yeah,
move
it was
forward.
like it's kind of like the whole discussion I had with Debbie Duran when we were talking about Job, and she's like, "Oh, you're just reptilian."
What?
Did you
Well,
guys
I'm
not know about
reptilian.
that? Ask Dave.
No.
She's actually called me a reptoid.
I'll
Colorado
let
Biker
Dave, but
Pepper
guys,
says
I got
that-
two things. One, whoever called my mic Jurassic wrong. It's Cretaceous, and I found out why I'm such a piece of shit. Carnotaurus was discovered in the South, so I'm racist.
Oh.
Ooh.
Doelow Da
Well,
Pilotman. Colorado
But
Biker
south
Pepper
of
says-
what? That's
wait,
the other
America.
Yeah, south of what?
America.
I mean, because you have to be in the land way down under to be really south.
I mean,
That's-
it's South America, but it's not
Dude,
Southern
he's
America.
talking
It's
shit
South
about
America
us.
that makes
Yeah, hang
me
on. Pepper
stupid.
Wait,
says
talking shit.
Pepper said there's an anagram. Doelow Da Pilotman's anagram is doped Iowa Trollman. That's cool.
Doped
Ooh.
Iowa.
I can't.
What?
I can't
Iowa
yeah.
Trollman.
Dope,
Wow.
dope Iowa.
Iowa?
Trollman.
That's pretty north.
I don't know if I have any like opinion on Iowans because.
They're kind of north, aren't
Yeah, I
they?
can't play as
Yeah.
through here. I don't have the tech. I don't know.
I remember when I worked in radio the first time around, and my station manager was like, "You need to have an Iowan accent." I'm like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And he's like, "Oh, that means have no accent."
Doelow is shit talking hard on
about
the
right.
stream. What is
No
he possibly
accent.
talking shit about? I'm confused.
He's saying
here.
that we're making up lies and shit. You know, he's saying we
Of
were
course,
getting
he
mad
was
and
saying that-
angry.
How
He's
are
saying
we-
we were getting
Does
mad
he-
and angry and upset. And
How? Who's mad? Who's angry? Who's upset? I don't know who.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
honestly wasn't mad at all.
I
I was
don't
legitimately
see
interested.
anybody
I
mad. I
told
don't
him
see
I-
anybody
I'm more
upset.
annoyed that he wouldn't answer a question directly.
Oh my goodness, he's
I'm
got
gonna-
friends with him.
I'm so confused.
I'm gonna go back outside. I'm gonna take you guys outside with me, and I'm gonna use my common sense to look at the Leo triplet.
Okay.
Ooh,
I
that's sexy.
Rum and Coke.
Yeah, you're only looking at the reflection of the triplet. And if you're out in outer space, then it'd be no reflection.
All right,
By the way,
yeah,
Landon, I
like-
love that you have a fire extinguisher.
Yes, well, the things get. Well, I mean, you got to. It's a kitchen, right? This is a kitchen.
Yeah, I get
and-
that, Landon. But the thing is, like, I'm very safety conscious. I don't even have a fire extinguisher.
All right,
That's not my only fire extinguisher.
and I can't talk loud.
How many fire extinguishers do you need in your kitchen?
I think.
Well, in the kitchen, one, but there's a fire extinguisher outside.
Got a
because-
fire extinguisher.
Because if you leave a kitchen and a fire starts, you don't have to go into the kitchen to get the fire extinguisher.
Oh my god.
All right, so guys,
Landon, I love you.
guys, good night. I'm sorry that Doelow
night.
got triggered. I don't know why he got triggered. Nobody's upset here. Nobody's angry. Nobody's even remotely close to that. I was enjoying it. I was just hoping he would understand that astrology isn't what he thinks it is. I don't think.
Just look at it this way, Steve. You'll get more views because of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean,
Well,
I
thank you
like
very
you.
muld Steve for inviting us.
I told
inviting us
you
on
to have
this,
fun. I did tell you that, right?
I do thank you for inviting me, though. It's
Who are
great.
you again?
I love it.
No, I'm kidding.
Muppet. Okay,
So-
bye.
I'm kidding.
So we're gonna
No, thanks,
head,
Muppet. I
we're gonna head
appreciate
over
it. Welcome.
to Discord.
Yeah,
for the,
go check it out.
Yes.
Discord. We do have a 24-hour Discord.
Yep.
And sometimes we stream to the other channel that we have, the Great Debate Community channel. But if you're not a member of the Great Debate Community, link is in the video description. Come join us. We have about 1,500 members. We have fun. We have do stuff like this. This is
and please consider being a Patreon too.
yeah, Patreon is very nice if people want to donate to the channel. This is just for my particular channel, and we have all kinds of after shows and all kinds of things we do on this channel, as well as with, of course, the non sequitur shows. So, I'm comparing. Wait, Doelow is comparing me to Lucifer now.
Dude,
That's
he's shit
high
talking
praise.
you and
High
all over.
praise.
He's shit talking us crazy
But
on his
dude,
channel. He
dude,
ran
look at-
from this discussion we were having to go to his own channel to shit talk to his fans.
But
Right,
Rex,
'cause he
look
was
at
insecure about himself.
if he's going to be the archangel Uriel, and now I'm Lucifer, I got him beat. I'm the.
Oh, yeah,
archangel.
What I would say is, okay, so you know specifically you're that one. All right, so how many are there? Do you have a number? Is there a limited amount of archangels? How do you know that you're
I
him
have
specifically?
no idea.
I don't think
Why
he knows
didn't you
an
pick one with a better sounding name?
I have a feeling this might be talked about for a while, so you guys figure it out. I don't know. Say
I'm
hi
moving
to
to the
say hi to
Discord.
Pilot Man. I got no ill will. I enjoyed him. He's welcome back anytime.
Discord and Pilot Man is very
It's
welcome to come to Discord.
Very welcome. I was enjoying
It's
the
like being
conversation with him.
angry at an infant. It's
Yeah.
just not justified.
He's
you know?
ranting.
Exactly.
I'm a little bit jaded because I have to deal with inmates, and I'm just like, meh.
Oh my god!
But
It's
are
Edgar.
inmates like this, or are they?
No, yeah, they're kind of like this. I mean, to be fair,
What is
think
he
he's
ranting about? I don't even understand what he's upset about.
what have you done?
Guys, guess what?
What did I do now?
Even though even though it's really dim, the Leo triplet's great to look at. You guys should break
All
out
right,
your
Max, we get
telescopes.
that. Yeah, we get that. I'm Lucifer.
I highly
Okay.
recommend looking at it.
Yes, they're
Well, I'm
above
heading
magnitude
to the
9, so you
Discord,
can need
guys,
good gear.
so-
Let's see. They're saying he got a little ass 4K followers. Dolo, talk about Scorpio Taurus moon.
Wait, what? What does that mean?
I don't know. I assume
by
they
the way,
mean like
does-
Scorpio Taurus, the constellation.
Does he have any idea?
Taurus.
Does he have any
Those-
idea how
those
many followers
constellations
you
are pretty
have,
far from
Rags?
each other.
If he wants to talk about fucking piddly ass channels, he only has 25,000. He's 1/10 of your size, and probably penis size too. But
less. I got 295,000.
Yeah,
but
so, I
what's
mean, you're
interesting
close to
is that
300,000
he has
subs.
25,000 subs, but he has less people watching him
Yeah.
than we're watching our discussion.
Active subscribers.
So I have about
And-
4,500 on this channel, and I get 200 live views. On the non sequitur, we have 5,500, and we had up to 1,000. And so,
How does somebody?
yeah, I'm okay with that.
How,
I'm
how
happy
does
with
somebody that incoherent
I
have
love-
that many subs?
that. I don't know,
You know, it's
but I
funny.
love people
I've
that are
actually
entertained.
commented
I like entertaining.
to your
Stephanie,
If they-
Stephanie's saying that we're ignorant of ignorant as fuck cosmic.
Oh, really?
force.
I'm ignorant?
Yeah, I mean,
No, but
people can say, but look at,
legitimately.
go look up Landon,
ignorant.
Curt, Noll, and go tell him that he is ignorant when he literally had the ear of Stephen Hawking. He has the ear of Leonard Susskind. The guy is like the foremost mathematician in the world.
But beyond that,
Well,
Landon's
a few
open
better
to hear
people.
it from other
Common sense.
perspectives.
But he has no common sense.
But common sense.
Landon's open to talking to people about things he doesn't know about.
Sure,
which is
sure.
fine.
That's how you learn. By the way,
Yeah,
Rex,
exactly.
I thought you had a really outstanding questions.
Yeah,
was,
Rex has
thanks.
brought. He's brought.
I-
it.
no. I
Great job,
think
Rex.
excellent job.
I don't know much about this science philosophy stuff.
Oh, you
I just
sciencey
ask
people.
questions.
You have
I-
common sense. That makes you a
Right,
perfect
whenever-
candidate. Ask questions.
Yeah, you brought your A game tonight. I'm impressed too.
For
Rex.
instance, the Soul Whisperer in his chat is saying that intelligence mean from Greek a blend of right and left brain.
Oh my god, that's
Where
not
did you get
what
that?
Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark!
Wow.
I got
Exclamation mark!
I got a Greek dictionary. Where the crap is that?
Do these people
That's
not know what DK
even
is?
if that was the Greek definition, that's not how we use it.
I just
I
don't get how these people
I-
get this way. I don't.
Well, it's cognitive dissonance, right? Like they have to come to this conclusion based off their own confirmation bias.
Yep.
And
But the level of ignorance is staggering. I don't know how these people function in society.
the thing is like I can speak from a little bit because of it, like where I grew up. Like most of these people don't look into it, and so they obviously just don't have an opinion on it. But when someone brings up something that's the same as their thinking, they don't really care to look in it deeper. They just believe in it.
Sure. It reinforces what they feel good about.
People
Exactly.
love nuclear talk.
Got a
one
comment
time.
from Edgar's got a comment here. He says,
Of course he does.
in all of those guests of Steve, I am the only person who has the best science. Edgar, best science.
So if that's the, wait. If that's the case, hey Edgar, I did a PowerPoint presentation on polonium halos, 2 hours of primer on nuclear physics. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what I got wrong in that? Show me your science.
Look, here's the thing. When I'm reading his chat live, And I understand why people ask things like, where are all these flat earthers coming from? Where are all these creationist people coming from? It's because the internet allows crazy people to find other crazy people very efficiently.
That's true.
So they find each other and they coagulate like a clock.
But Rags, you also notice that they kind of like support each other up. Like, no, you're not stupid. No, you're not stupid.
Oh, yeah,
you're
like,
really
yeah,
bright.
Well,
You're,
no, they're
you're
saying
really
things
smart.
like all of your gnosis fell on deaf ears. Their ability to comprehend you was not ever going to happen.
Yeah,
but
like,
it was
You heard about
absolutely
his gnosis? He's talking about gnosis. Okay.
Well, like one of the
in
questions, like one of the things we were
Yeah, I know
having
what
with like
gnosis
Red
means.
and me in another room.
Gnosis.
Yeah, it's knowledge.
Like me
specifically
and
related to
Red Eye were having
Gnosticism,
a
which is
conversation
second
with
century
some flat
form
earthers
of-
in another room, and one of them was a solipsist.
Oh.
But the other person in that room would defend them because they were a flat earther as well.
Sure.
Wow.
Like, and I like when I heard he's a solipsist, my conversation ends because like there's literally no point. Like,
I agree with that.
why-
If somebody claims, I'm okay with soft sauce.
Oh, here comes the racism.
But if
they
you're a hard-
definitely did it because he's black. Let's keep it real.
Oh, I didn't even know he was black until you said it.
White devils, white demons, be gone, white demons.
No, like Steve, I'm
can't-
fine
I
if you
can't
really
even
want to
get-
talk about solipsism, but me personally, I just don't think.
No. I soft solipsism is there's something to be said for it, but hard solipsism, no. If somebody claims to be a hard solipsist, why bother with them? There's a way
Exactly,
to
that's my position. It's like
soft solipsism
like
is
there's
fine. Soft solipsism is basically the position I can
Well, I
only
mean, I think
have
everybody to an
epistemic facts
extent is
that
soft
say that my brain exists. Right? That's soft solipsism,
Tony?
and that's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
to be said for that.
Guys,
yeah, but when you're talking
Tony-
about hard solipsism, it's no point.
Right.
Tony Tucker in the Pilotman live stream. He's a Scorpio sun, but he magnetizes to Taurus sun.
What the fuck does that mean?
Guys,
What does that even mean?
can you believe that?
What the fuck does
He's
that even
not
mean?
magnetizing to the right celestial sun.
How can you not magnetize to the right celestial sun? What is wrong
I
with you
don't know.
people?
I'm
If you're
going to
gonna
ask.
be magnetized to
sun's
the
fairly
sun-
magnetic.
Send a message to his Google Plus if I can find out, because no one knows how to work Google
Oh
Plus.
my
'cause
God!
it's
I bet the
2018.
Aquarians are really pissed off right now.
Like, I don't even understand this shit.
Is
And
he?
the-
He's appropriating the
woke.
Taurus sun.
You're not
You
woke.
know what's funny? My sister is actually like a freelance therapist now. She started out as a social worker, and me and her have had this conversation about like these star signs and bullshit like that. If people like in their adolescence come to look at these star signs, like specifically Sagittarius, right? They will develop their own mental stability based on that. And she wrote a paper about this. Because
they're very supportive. It didn't. Let's see. I'm cool. Cool. I'm a Sagittarius sun and rising with a Scorpio moon.
Wow, that's deep.
Oh no, we've got another Edgar comment. I am better than Landon. I can explain naturally the origin of gravity. Landon cannot. Hey, may I answer this one, guys? I've got a one-word answer. It's called bullshit. Holy crap!
we all know that.
Actually, is bullshit one word or two words?
It's one
No,
word
it's
in
one
Australia. You don't fuck around, mate. Just say it's time. No
Well,
space.
Landon, what does common sense say?
Oh god damn it!
All right. On that note, everybody, good night. Thank you very much for joining. Don't
Good
forget to
night.
like,
Thank you.
subscribe, and I appreciate you guys watching. And I'm glad that you guys were entertained. That's the whole point of Rum and Coke
Discord.
night is just to have
I
fun,
love it.
and I think that we did. So, mission successful.
Bloody night, folks.
Good night.